Are you at Udos St. Pierre?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. St. Pierre, you were arrested on a charge of trespass on property after a warning. There's probable cause to support the arrest. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond is stated $500. You are not to return to the scene of the offense.
Your Honor, the state has extended an offer to Mr. St. Pierre of a withhold of adjudication credit for time served in court costs. No return to the scene. Would this court be willing to take that offer at this time?
If he wants to take the plea, yes. Do you want to plead to that offer?
Yes, ma'am.
Withhold credit for time served in court.
And Your Honor, I do have a signed plea form. May I approach?
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Mr. St. Pierre, tell me your full name and your birthday, please.
It is Uds Moise St. Pierre. Birthday March 27, 1996.
How far have you gone in school?
High school diploma.
So you read, write, and understand English?
Yes, ma'am.
Your attorney handed me a plea form in English. Did you read and understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Plea form has your name at the top, a signature at the bottom. Did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, medicine, or alcohol?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone forced you to plea?
No, ma'am.
And do you have any kind of mental condition that would make you confused or not understand what's going on?
No, ma'am.
Are you thinking clearly?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you entering your plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Your plea form lists the rights that you give up. By pleading, you give up your right to a trial, your right to testify or choose to remain silent, your right to call your own witnesses and question the state's witnesses, and make the state prove you're guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Any questions about the rights you give up?
No, ma'am.
You're pleading to trespass after a warning. You can get up to a year in jail. Any questions about that? That's not the sentence that you're going to get. That's just the maximum penalty.
No, ma'am.
Were you on probation when you got this charge?
No, ma'am.
This plea would be used to prove the violation against you if you were. And do you need to speak to an immigration attorney about immigration consequences?
No, ma'am.
Because if you're not a U.S. citizen, by entering a plea, you will be subjected to deportation proceedings. There is a factual basis on the affidavit to accept the plea, if that's what you still want to do. The guilty plea admits the crime, not guilty denies it, and no contest says you don't admit or deny. You are pleading in your best interest. How do you plead to the charge of trespass after a warning?
No contest.
I'll accept the no contest plea and find that you're entering it freely and voluntarily, making a knowing, intelligent waiver. You understand the consequences. Anything you want to say before I sentence you?
1 second. Yes.
We're ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Okay, so you have nothing to say before I sentence you?
No, ma'am.
I'll withhold adjudication of guilt. Is this credit for time served? 2 days?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, 2 days credit for time served. Order that you pay court costs and $273 will be payable within the next 24 months after you're released from custody. You're being held right now, you are out on pretrial release for possession of cannabis with intent to sell within 1,000 feet of a school and possession of cannabis greater than 20 grams. You violated your pretrial release. PTR is revoked.
Your Honor, if I may.
Mm-hmm.
We'd asked for no action to be taken on that case. It hasn't been filed on yet. He was arrested in April, and we're now in July, and there's still been no action.
He was arrested in April,
April 8th.
and they have not filed on it?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay, I won't take any action on it then.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Next case, Christopher Shaw. Mr. Shaw, you were arrested on a charge of attempted second-degree murder with a weapon. There's probable cause to support the arrest. I will appoint the public defender's office. Your bond on this case will be set at $250,000. You are to have no contact with the victim. You are not to return to the scene of the offense. You are not to possess any drugs, weapons, or alcohol while you are out on bond. Good luck to you, sir.
Is there a requirement of no alcohol or no weapons, ammunition, firearms?
No weapons, ammunition, firearms, no drugs. None of that.
Thank you.
Narkeith Payne. Is that your name, sir? Are these, where are these from? Okay. Mr. Payne, you were arrested on a violation of probation. I will appoint the public defender's office. Your bond on this case is set at none. Good luck to you, sir. Oh, I got it. I ain't got the vote. Shantia Warren. Are you Shantia Warren?
Yes.
Ms. Warren, you were arrested on a warrant for probable cause had previously been found for charge of criminal mischief between $200 and $1,000. I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Does she qualify for PTR? I will modify your bond to be $1,000. You are not to return to the scene of the offense. You are not to possess any weapons, firearms, or ammunition. You are to have no contact with the victim in this case. You are not to, I think I said, no drugs unless you have a valid prescription. Good luck to you. And she has another case. And then there is the second case, which is criminal mischief at a place of worship. Criminal mischief of a place of worship. Probable cause has previously been found. I will appoint the public defender's office. The bond will be set at $5,000. You are not to return to the scene of the offense. Same conditions as the other charge. No weapons, firearms, ammunition, no contact with the victim, no return to the scene of the offense, no possession or use of any drugs or alcohol. Good luck to you. Next case is Linda Mary Hanson. Ms. Hanson, you were arrested on a charge of trespass on property after a warning. There's probable cause to support the arrest. I will appoint the public defender's office. The bond will be stayed at $500. You are not to return to the scene of the offense. You are not to possess any firearms, weapons, or ammunition. You are not to possess any drugs or alcohol while you are out on bond. Good luck to you.
May I say a few words, Your Honor?
No, you need to just talk to your attorney, and your attorney will file whatever motions are necessary.
Yes, my
Jason,
attorney will talk to you.
your attorney will talk to me.
Okay.
Jason, you're welcome. Jason Bernillo. Okay, Mr. Bernillo,
Bronco.
you were arrested on charges of burglary of a conveyance, grand theft third degree, possession of burglary tools. There's probable cause to support the arrest. I will appoint the public defender's office. The bonds will be stayed at $3,500 on count one, $150 on counts 2 and 3. You are not to return to the scene of the offense. You are to have no contact with any victims or witnesses. You are not to possess or use any drugs or alcohol. You are not to possess or use any firearms, weapons, or ammunition. You are also out on OR for grand theft third degree and battery. Your OR will be revoked and the bond will be set at none. Good luck to you, sir.
Your Honor, what was the bond amount for Miss Hanson?
Miss 500.
Thank you.
The next case I have is Terrell Allen. Mr. Allen, you were arrested on a charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, battery, domestic violence, and criminal mischief between $200 and $1,000. There's probable cause to support the arrest. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bonds will be stayed at the amount of $2,500, $1,000, and $150 respectively. You are not to return to the scene of the offense. You are to have no contact with the victim. You are not to possess any drugs without a valid prescription. You are not to possess or use any alcohol. You are not to possess or use any firearms, weapons, or ammunition. Good luck to you, sir.
It's gonna be 4,000.
Anthony Eugene Rose is medical. So I'll reset him for tomorrow.
Your Honor, if the Office of the Public Defender is appointed, we would waive his appearance today.
Okay. Public Defender's Office will be appointed. This is Mr. Anthony Eugene Rose. He was arrested on charges of ag assault with a weapon, domestic violence, and aggravated assault with a firearm. Probable cause exists on both of the charges. I will appoint the Public Defender's Office. He is not to return to the scene of the offense. He's not to have any contact with the victims. The bond amounts on count number 1 will be $3,500. On count number 2, it will be $1,000. He's not to possess or use any drugs without a valid prescription, not to possess or use any firearms, weapons, or ammunition, and he's not to possess or use any alcohol. Derek Gross. Mr. Gross, you have been charged with or arrested on charges of domestic violence battery by strangulation. There's probable cause to support the arrest. I will appoint the Public Defender's Office. You are not to return to the scene of the offense. You are to have no contact with the victim. The bond on this case will be set at $3,500. You are not to possess any drugs without a valid prescription. You are not to possess or use any alcohol while you are out on bond. You are also not to possess or use any firearms, weapons, or ammunition while you are out on bond. Good luck to you, sir. Next one are 2 cases. Tony Ramsey. Actually 3. One's a failure to appear. Mr. Ramsey, you have 3 cases before me today. The first case is kidnapping, dating violence, and battery dating violence. There's probable cause to support the arrest. I will appoint the Public Defender's Office. On count number 1, the bond will be set at $25,000. Count number 2, the bond will be set at $1,500. You are not to possess or use any drugs without a valid prescription. You are not to possess or use any alcohol. You are not to possess or use any firearms, weapons, or ammunition. You are to have no contact with the victim, and you are not to return to the scene of the offense. In the next case, you have a failure to appear. The capias issued was for your failure to appear at a status hearing on June 28th. The bond in that case is set at none. Public Defender's Office, I believe, is appointed to represent you or was previously appointed. In the burglary of an occupied dwelling case, you were arrested on a warrant where probable cause had previously been found. Public Defender's Office is appointed. The bond is set at $5,000. As a condition, you are to have no contact with the victim, not return to the scene of the offense. Additionally, you are not to possess or consume any drugs without a valid prescription. You are not to possess or consume any alcohol, and you are not to possess or use any firearms, weapons, or ammunition. Good luck to you, sir. Patrice Thomas. There's a victim for Ms. Thomas's case. Ms. Thomas, you were arrested on charges of aggravated battery with a weapon and domestic violence battery. On both of those cases, there's probable cause to support the arrest. I am going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Sir, please raise your right hand so the clerk can swear you in.
Solemnly swear affirm the testimony shall give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes,
State your name for the record.
SQ Edie.
Okay, sir, I can't hear you.
SQ Edie.
Say it one more time.
SQ Edie.
Okay, Mr. Edie, you are here on behalf of Ms. Thomas. What would you like the court to know?
I just wanted to know that for her to be able to get a bond, help her with that.
Okay, Sharon, I can't half understand him.
You gotta repeat that.
I said I was trying to help with a bond.
So are you the victim in the case?
Yes,
And do you want to have contact with her?
yes,
Do you wish to prosecute the case?
no,
And are you afraid of Ms. Thomas?
no,
Do you two live together?
yes,
And so is she allowed to come back to the house?
yes,
All right. On count number one, I will set the bond at $1,500. On count two, I will set the bond at $150. Ms. Thomas is not to have any hostile contact with the victim. She can return to the home. She is not to possess or use any drugs without a valid prescription, not to possess or use any alcohol. She's not to possess or use any firearms, weapons, or ammunition without a valid, no, just flat out, just not use any weapons, firearms, or ammunition. She was out, she has an open case for battery. What's going on with that? Ms. Cunningham, do you know anything about that case?
Your Honor, that one was not on my list of cases that she was out on. Can I get the case number, please?
Okay, I'll just take no action on that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, the next case is Tevin Williams. Anyone here for Tevin Rashad Williams? Mr. Williams, you were arrested on a charge of violation of a domestic injunction. There is probable cause to support that arrest. I will appoint, no, you don't qualify for the services of the Public Defender's Office. Why is that?
Your Honor,
You do qualify for the services of the Public Defender's Office, so I will appoint that office to represent you. I will, I'll set the bond amount on this case at $3,500. You are to have no contact with the victim. You are not to return to the scene of the offense. You are not to possess or use any drugs without a valid prescription. You are not to use any alcohol, and you are not to possess or use any firearms, weapons, or ammunition. In the other case, there's probable cause to support the arrest for possession of cannabis greater than 20 grams with a weapon, possession of 3,4-methylene deoxymethamphetamine, and possession of a firearm in the commission of a felony. On count number one, the bond will be set at $5,000. Count number two, the bond will be set at $2,500. Count number three, the bond will be set at $150. You are not to return to the scene of the offense. You are not to possess or consume any drugs without a valid prescription, no alcohol. You are not to possess or use any firearms, weapons, or ammunition without a valid prescription. Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent him on the second case as well. Next case is Nikki Henderson, or is it Nikki Henderson?
Beck Turganov. Is that good?
Oh, wait, hold on, I'm so sorry. No. I'm sorry, I skipped one.
I tried to break it.
Irma Beck, is that your first name?
Yes, that is.
Okay. Beck Turganov,
That was very good. Yes, it is.
is that right?
Yes.
At least that's what you'll say to me right now, huh?
I mean, very few Americans can actually pronounce it right.
Okay, all right, so let's see where we go here. All right, sir, you were arrested on a charge of battery. Is there anyone here for Mr. Bekturganov? No, we will continue. There's probable cause to support this arrest. I will appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. You are not to have any contact with the victim and not to return to the scene of the offense. The bond in this case will be set at $1,500. You are not to consume or possess any drugs without a valid prescription. You are not to possess any firearms, weapons, or ammunition. And you are not to possess or consume any alcohol while you are out on bond. Good luck to you, sir.
Mr. Henderson?
Now, I have Nikki Henderson. Sir, are you Nikki Henderson?
Yes, I am.
You were arrested on a charge of battery, dating violence. There's probable cause to support the arrest. I will appoint the Public Defender's Office. Your bond is set at $1,500. You are to have no contact with the victim. You are not to return to the scene of the offense. You are to not to possess any drugs without a valid prescription. You are also not to possess or use any alcohol. You are not to possess any firearms, weapons, or ammunition. Good luck to you,
Your
sir.
Honor? May we have a one-time return with law enforcement so that he can gather his belongings?
Yes. You can return to the property one time with law enforcement to gather your personal belongings.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Michael LeGrand. No, that's not it. Alexandra Santiago. Ms. Santiago, you were arrested on battery, dating violence. There is probable cause to support the arrest. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond is set at $1,500. You are to have no contact with the victim. You are not to return to the scene of the offense, but you can go back one time to get your belongings. You are not to possess or consume any drugs while you are on bond without a valid prescription. You are to possess no firearms, weapons, or ammunition, and you are to possess no alcohol. Good luck to you.
And Your Honor, that bond was $1,500?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Um,
We'll have to give the bondsman back.
William Jr. Smith.
Once it's on that.
Wait, is that right?
No, you don't qualify.
Wait. Wait.
Here.
Sharon, here's another one, 1,200 weekly with no dependents. 1,200 weekly with no dependents. Sir, how much money do you make a week?
No, I only make $500 a week.
Smith?
Yeah.
I bet that changed everything. Okay, $500 a week. All right. Mr. Smith, you were arrested on a charge of battery, domestic violence. There's probable cause to support the arrest. I will appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. The bond will be set at $1,500. No. Let me stop. Are there two or just, it should just be one?
Yes, Your Honor.
It's one,
One.
and I got to
It
talk.
should be Deanna and William have been, it should be Deanna?
It's
okay.
one that she had a stroke, and I need to talk for her.
Oh,
It's
okay.
her card.
I'll swear both of you in?
Raise your
Okay.
hand. Raise your hand. Wait a minute, she had a stroke on their
Oh,
hand.
she can't, okay, that's fine, just the left hand is fine.
Okay, Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony shall give be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am, is your name Deanna Smith?
Dina Smith?
Oh, Dina Smith.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And how are you related to William Smith?
Boyfriend?
And are you the victim in this case? I see you nodding your head.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And do you want to have contact with Mr. Smith?
She said, yes, ma'am. She said, only thing that she want that he stop drinking and smoking dope. She said, yes.
Okay. Do you two live together?
Yes, ma'am.
Can he go back to the home with you
Yes.
as long as he stops smoking dope and drinking?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like for me to know?
Anything else you'd like for her to know? Just stop drinking and smoking. She just want him to just stop. Y'all give him a court order for stop smoking and drinking. He welcome to come back home.
Okay.
That's it.
I believe the state attorney has some questions she wants to ask you.
Okay.
Hi, good morning. Just a couple questions. Are you afraid of the defendant?
No.
And if anything does happen, are you willing and able to call 911 for help?
Yes.
All right. No further questions. Thank you.
All right, then. So I will set the bond at $1,500. You can have no hostile contact with the victim. You can return to the scene, or you can return home. While you are out on bond, you cannot use any drugs, and that includes the dope that Ms. Smith is referring to. So no smoking dope. Now, it might not say dope on the paperwork, it's gonna say drugs, but no smoking drugs. No ingesting drugs. I don't know what you use. There's nothing you can ask me. There is no drug use, no ingesting it, smoking it, shooting it. You can't even drink liquor. No. And liquor even means something as weak as Miller Lite. No Blue Moon, no Miller Lite, none of that. No Hennessy, nothing. You can't have any firearms, weapons, or ammunition. And if you violate any of those conditions, you're gonna be back in jail. Now, you got other problems. You were out on bond when this charge happened. You were out on bond for sex offender violation, failure to report. So I'm going to revoke that bond.
Your Honor, may I be heard?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, this case has not been filed on yet. He was arrested back in May of this year, and more in July. There's been no action taken on this case, so we'd ask for no action to be taken at this time.
State?
Given the nature of the charge, if he can be held, since he did violate the terms of his release, we would ask that the bond still be revoked.
And Your Honor, if the bond would be revoked, this defense would ask for a new bond to be put in place.
Okay. Well, in this case, the bond is going to be revoked and the new bond will be set at none. The PD who represents him and Judge Barber's division can take that up with Judge Barber.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Next case is Shanette Williams. Shanette Williams.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I'm sorry, I see you there. Good morning, or good afternoon, I'm trying to see if there's a victim out here. Doesn't look like it. All right, Ms. Williams, you were arrested on a charge of battery domestic violence. There is probable cause to support your arrest. I will appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you.
Your Honor, we would be asking for straight PTR on this case. She does qualify.
Ms. Williams qualifies for straight PTR. Does she have any prior criminal history? What kind? Not at this time. I won't do straight PTR. I will set the bond at $1,500. She's to have no contact with the victim, no return to the scene of the offense. She can go back one time to pick up her belongings with law enforcement. You're not to possess any drugs without a valid prescription, cannot use any weapons, firearms, or ammunition, and you cannot possess or use any alcohol while you are out on bond. Good luck to you. Richard Alford was a refusal? Mr. Alford was a refusal. Are you waiving his appearance today?
If appointed, yes, Your Honor.
Court will appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent him. The defendant was indicted on a charge of first-degree murder with a firearm. The bond is set at none.
Does he have Tracy Keegan? Is his attorney?
Tracy Keegan is his attorney?
K-E-G-A-N,
Mm-hmm.
that's his attorney. It was appointed, I think it's because of, yeah, Tracy Keegan is his attorney.
Okay, so public defender is not appointed. So how does she come into IAs for him? Okay, well, I'm going to waive his appearance. He's charged with first-degree murder, or he's been indicted on first-degree murder with a firearm. His bond is set at none, and he's also charged in that indictment with possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, and his bond is stayed at $2,500. Because he refused, okay. No, ma'am, just the two.
Your Honor,
Hold on.
Your Honor, I did see that there were some other cases listed. I don't know if that list came from PTR, but he's been in custody on those charges. These aren't new charges.
This is an add-on. See it coming up, yeah, so he must have already added it.
Are we looking at case number 2019 CF 15226? 33.
No, this,
That's the indictment that he's in on.
the indictment is 223345.
And the other case I saw was 19 CF 15226. And in that case, he's been in custody and adjudicated incompetent on November 8th of 2021.
That was just an add-on, so them other cases make them clean already, but we only have the one. We only got the one.
Stephen Baisley?
Yes.
Mr. Baisley, you are here for a failure to appear for a hearing on January 27th of this year. The bond in this case is set at none. Public Defender's Office is appointed.
I understand, we're just.
Next case is Patrick Beauvoir.
They will be notified and they can get you into court.
Mr. Beauvoir,
Have them reach out to you, okay?
oh,
Yes, it's no bond.
sir, you're going to have to talk to your attorney at another time. Mr. Beauvoir? It looks like you have been arrested on a warrant for failure to appear for your case management conference on April 8th of 2019. Your release was revoked and your bond is set at none. And then there was another failure to appear for a status hearing. In that case, your bond is set at $250. Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Good luck to you, sir. Lamar Bennett? Or Lamar Bennett, I'm sorry about that. Sir, you are arrested on a warrant for failure to update your address with the Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles as a sex offender. The bond in this case was previously set at none. Public Defender's Office will be appointed to represent you. I am going to set your bond, though, at $2,500. You are not to possess any firearms, weapons, or ammunition. You are not to use any drugs unless you have a valid prescription, and you are not to use any alcohol. Good luck to you, sir. Elijah Benoit. Sir, you were arrested for sale and delivery of a controlled substance and unlawful use of a two-way communication device. Probable cause exists on both of the charges. I will appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. The bonds will be stayed at $15,000 and $500 respectively. You are not to return to the scene of the offense. You are to have no contact with any witnesses. You are not to possess or consume any drugs without a valid prescription. You are not to possess or use any weapons, firearms, or ammunition, and you are not to use any alcohol while you are out on release. Good luck to you, sir. Charles Capehart.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Capehart, you are here on an arrest warrant where probable cause was found for false imprisonment and for battery. I will appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. On count number 1, the false imprisonment, the bond will be set at $7,500. On count 2, the bond will be set at $1,500. You are to have no contact with the victim. You are not to return to the scene of the offense. You are not to possess any drugs without a valid prescription. You are not to use any alcohol. You are not to use any firearms, weapons, or ammunition or possess those items. You were out on bond on a charge of battery. Your bond on that case, and that's 2022 MM124E, will be revoked. The new bond in that case will be set at $2,500.
Your Honor,
Yes.
there was a private attorney that was previously appointed for 22 MM124, but then they withdrew, so he is currently without an attorney. We'd ask for the Public Defender's Office to be appointed.
I will appoint the PD's office to represent him. All right, next case is Richard Pete Chioka.
Okay, they just have to follow in.
Mr. Chioka,
Yes, ma'am.
you were arrested on charges of grand theft motor vehicle and leaving the scene of a crash involving damage. There's probable cause to support the arrest. I am going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. On count number 1, I'm going to stay the bond at $7,000. On count number 2, I'm going to stay the bond at $1,000. You are to have no contact with the victim and witnesses, not return to the scene of the offense. You cannot possess any drugs while you are on bond unless you have a valid prescription. You are not to have any firearms, weapons, or ammunition, and you are not to use any alcohol or possess any alcohol while you are out on bond. Good luck, sir.
Your Honor, we have a victim in the gallery that is trying to get my attention and yours.
On this case?
No, ma'am. She is here for a felony warrant VOP case.
Okay,
Back on the back of the docket.
okay, thank you.
Jade Cook. Ms. Cook, you were arrested on charges of possession of cocaine and burglary of an occupied structure. There's probable cause to support the arrest, and the Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. The bonds will be stayed at $500 and $5,000 respectively. You are to have no contact with victim or witnesses in the case, not return to the scene of the offense. You are not to possess or consume any drugs without a valid prescription. You are not to possess or use any firearms, weapons, or ammunition, and you are not to consume any alcohol while you are out on bond. In the next case, you were arrested on a charge of criminal mischief. There is probable cause to support that arrest. Public defender is appointed on that case as well. I will stay the bond at $500. You are to have no contact with the victim in that case, not return to the scene of the offense, not possess or use any drugs without a valid prescription, no firearms, weapons, or ammunition, and no alcohol while you are out on bond. Good luck to you. Toysia Davis.
She's behavior, Your Honor. She was in a cell fight. not so long ago.
Um,
We would waive, Your Honor.
yeah, got me shook. Okay. She failed to appear for possession of ammunition by a convicted felon. Her bond is set at none. Public defender is appointed.
Failure to appear.
A Robin Barber?
Oh, she has conflict counsel, so there must be a conflict. Okay, so PD is not appointed. RCC is appointed to represent her. So I'm waiving her appearance because she has behavioral issues. I waived her appearance, yes, ma'am. Next one is Samuel Felix.
He refused?
Your Honor, we would waive his appearance.
Mr. Felix is arrested on a warrant where probable cause was previously found for robbery and burglary of a structure. Public Defender's Office is appointed. The bonds are stayed at $10,000 and $3,500. He's to have no contact with the victim, and it appears he's not to return to any Home Depot or Lowe's. Also, he's not to possess or use any drugs while on release, unless he has a valid prescription, no firearm, weapons, or ammunition, and he is not to consume or use or possess any alcohol. The next case is Shamika Philidor.
Bonded?
Ms. Philidor bonded.
Did he only have one case?
Andrew Jackson.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Jackson, you were arrested for trafficking in oxycodone greater than 4 grams with a firearm, possession of cannabis greater than 20 grams with a weapon, possession of firearm by a convicted delinquent, sale and delivery of a controlled substance, possession of a firearm in the commission of a felony. There's probable cause to support the arrest. I will appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Your bonds are as follows. $50,000 on count number 1. The bond are stayed on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5. You are not to have any contact with any witnesses or co-defendants, or you are not to return to the scene of the offense. You are not to possess or consume any drugs while you are on release unless you have a valid prescription, no firearms, weapons, or ammunition, and you are not to consume any alcohol while you are on release.
Your Honor, I apologize. Can you read off the bonds for the state bonds?
$50,000 on count 1, counts 2, 3, 4, and 5 are stayed at $150 apiece.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Next one is Janelle Jenkins. I have 2 cases for Mr. Jenkins. The first one is a failure to appear. Mr. Jenkins failed to appear for a pretrial conference in my division. You didn't come to pretrial, Mr. Jenkins. So your bond was revoked, and I set your bond at none. And then you have a new law arrest for possession of 3,4-methylene deoxymethamphetamine and possession of drug paraphernalia. Count number 1, your bond will be set at $1,000. Count number 2, your bond is set at $100. There is probable cause to support the arrest. I will appoint the PD's office to represent you. You are not to possess or use any drugs while you are on pretrial, while you are out. No firearms, weapons, or ammunition. And no alcohol. To Linda Johnson.
Yes,
Did it?
100,
Was that 100?
yeah.
Okay.
1,100.
Ms. Johnson, you were arrested on charges of possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, possession of a firearm in commission of a felony, alteration or removal of a firearm serial number, trafficking in cocaine greater than 28 grams with a weapon, and possession of cocaine with intent to sell or deliver with a weapon. There is probable cause to support the arrest. I will appoint the Public Defender's Office. On count number 1, the bond is set at $4,000. Count 2, bond is set at $5,000. Count 3, bond is set at $2,500. Count number 4, the trafficking in cocaine greater than 28 grams with a weapon, the bond is set at $350,000. Count 5, the bond is set at $75,000. You are to have no contact with the co-defendants or any other witnesses in the case. You are not to return to the scene of the offense. You are not to possess any drugs without a valid prescription. You are not to possess any firearms, weapons, or ammunition. And you are not to consume any alcohol while you are on pretrial release or while you are out on bond. Good luck to you. Ebony Kent. Ms. Kent, you are arrested on a charge of possession of cocaine. There's probable cause to support your arrest, and I will appoint the PD's office to represent you. Your bond is going to be stayed at $1,000. No, I'm going to set it at $500. I'm going to order that you not possess or use any drugs while you are out on release. You are not to possess or use any firearms, weapons, or ammunition, and you are not to possess any alcohol or use any alcohol. And you are not to return to the scene of the offense. Good luck to you. Andy Lang.
And you're good to go. Your Honor, may I be heard on probable cause for Mr. Lang?
Yes.
Your Honor, the defense takes the position that there's no probable cause for the charged crime of grand theft of a motor vehicle. There's no suspect information that was provided for that grand theft. And although he was found in possession with the vehicle, he did state that he got the car from someone else. There's nothing to show probable cause that the client knew that the car was stolen at all. The statute requires that the defendant knowingly deprive the owner of the car of the full use and benefit, and there's no probable cause to show that there was any knowledge of that.
State.
The police affidavit states that he obtained the original report from Osceola that said the car was stolen, as well as confirmed via teletype that the vehicle was reported stolen out of Osceola County. The stop was made because the vehicle was reported stolen, and we would contend that there is probable cause because there was a report of the vehicle being stolen.
And Your Honor, may I respond?
No, ma'am. There's no probable cause as to grand theft, but there is probable cause as to trespass in an unoccupied conveyance. So I'll find trespass for that. I'll find probable cause for the trespass in an unoccupied conveyance. What's that? Misdemeanor charge? Is that an M1?
I believe it's an M1, Your Honor.
So I will set his bond, I'll appoint the public defender's office and set his bond at $500 on that. And
Is it unoccupied?
it's unoccupied. Because it doesn't count that he was in it.
Okay.
I'll give you the statute in just a minute. Let me. It's in.
Your Honor, the Florida statute is 810.08.
Thank you. 810.08.
And it is a second-degree misdemeanor, Your
It's
Honor.
second degree. So it's
Unoccupied structure?
unoccupied structure, unoccupied conveyance, sorry.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to do.
Thank you.
Misdemeanor.
M2. And so and I set the bond at $500. He is not to return to the scene of the offense, or which is Westmoreland and Central. Not possess any drugs, weapons, or alcohol. That includes firearms and ammunition. And then the defendant was out on bond for petty theft with 2 priors. So on that case, I'm going to revoke his bond. And his bond in that case will be set at none. He's in Division 20 on that case, so he can contact the Division 20 PD and see about getting a bond motion before that judge. Next case is Rudolph Langley.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Langley was arrested on possession of cocaine. There's probable cause, sir, to support the arrest. I will appoint the PD's office. Your bond is going to be, hold on. Your bond will be set at $500. You are not to return to the scene of the offense. You are not to possess any drugs while you are on release unless you have a valid prescription, no firearms, weapons, or ammunition, and no alcohol while you are out on bond.
Thank you so much.
Good luck to you, sir. Michelle Leibcap. Ms. Leibcap,
Yes, ma'am.
you were arrested for possession of fentanyl.
Yes, ma'am.
There's probable cause to support your arrest. I will appoint the PD's office. Your bond is going to be set at $1,000. You are not to possess any drugs unless you have a valid prescription, no firearms, weapons, or ammunition, no alcohol either, and don't return to the scene of the offense.
I believe this is a co-defendant case. Can we have no contact with co-defendants?
Who was her co-defendant? Well, you know what? The public defender's office will fix all that out on Monday,
Okay.
Tuesday or sometime. Are you Elvis Mbutha?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Mbutha, you were arrested on a charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. There is probable cause to support that arrest, and the public defender's office will be appointed to represent you. Your bond is going to be set at $2,500. You are not to return to the scene of the offense, and you are to have no contact with the victim. You are to possess no weapons, firearms, or ammunition. You cannot use any drugs unless you have a valid prescription, and you cannot use any alcohol while you are out on release. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Uh-oh. The bond was set at, I think I said $2,500. Mm-hmm. Okay. Next case is Amber McCormick. She's the other half of the fight. Okay, well, her appearance is waived. I'm waiving her appearance today. She had a public defender previously, and she's here on a capias for failing to appear for a plea hearing. Her bond is set at none. Matthew Oliver. Mr. Oliver, you were arrested on a charge of possession of cocaine. There's probable cause to support your arrest. Public defender is appointed. Your bond is going to be stayed at $1,000. You are not to return to the scene of the offense. You are not to possess or use any drugs unless you have a valid prescription. You are not to use any firearms, weapons, or ammunition. And you are not to use any alcohol while you are on release. Good luck to you, sir. Mr. Rodriguez, are you Hammett?
Excuse me?
What is your first name, sir?
Hammett.
Hammett Rodriguez? Mr. Rodriguez, you were arrested for possession of fentanyl and driving under the influence. There's probable cause to support the arrest. I will appoint the public defender's office and stay your bonds at $1,000 and $100 respectively. You are not to return to the scene of the offense. While you are on release, you are not to possess or consume any drugs unless you have a valid prescription. You are not to possess any firearms, weapons, or ammunition, and you are not to possess or consume any alcohol. And you are not to drive unless you have a valid driver license.
That mean you're gonna release me?
If you can make your bond, yes.
Can you lower it for me, please?
No, sir, it's set at $1,000 and $100. Roger Rouse? Okay. Michael Jerome Rump? Mr. Rump, you have a few cases here before me. The first case. Oh, okay. All right, thank you. All right. Michael Jerome Rump, is that your name, sir? Okay. You were charged with possession of 3,4-methylene deoxymethamphetamine, also known as MDMA, possession of cocaine, and possession of cannabis less than 20 grams. There's probable cause to support the arrests. I will appoint the public defender's office. The bonds in these cases are going to stay at $1,000, $150, and $100. You are not to return to the scene of the offense. You are not to use any drugs unless you have a valid prescription. You are not to use any firearms, weapons, or ammunition, and you are not to use any alcohol. Count 3 will be OR. In a misdemeanor case, 2022 MM 2988AO.
Your Honor, may I? That case has not been filed on. He was arrested on May 5th, got out on a 33-day motion, and there's still been no action.
I'm not going to take any action on that.
And may it be heard as to the CF case as well?
And then there's 2022 CF 3956AO.
Your Honor, that arrest happened on April 8th. There's been no information filed. He's also out on a 33-day motion, and no action has been taken.
They've not filed on that case yet?
Correct, Your Honor. And it's from April 8th.
Ooh, Mr. Rump, it's your lucky day, because that's in my division. And I normally tell people, you got to stay in jail. Ooh, you must be living right somewhere. Okay, I'll take no action on that one.
Thank you, Your Honor.
James Smith?
Bonded.
Shannon Sullivan? Is that you, sir?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Sullivan, you have two cases. On the first case, okay, let's talk about the disorderly conduct case first. On the disorderly conduct case, there's probable cause to support the arrest, and I'll appoint the public defender's office. I'm going to stay the bond at $500. You're not to return to the scene, and you're to have no contact with any witnesses in the case. And you're not to possess or use any drugs or alcohol, and you're not to possess or use any firearms, weapons, or ammunition. On the second case, you were arrested on a charge of burglary of an occupied dwelling. State, I'm a little confused on this case. Is the burglary charge, are the facts supporting the burglary when he went into the house belonging to Philidor to get his groceries back?
Can you repeat that, Your Honor?
Okay.
Because I'm confused now, too.
Okay, let's go to the second paragraph. On July 8th, Sullivan observed his next-door neighbors were taking his groceries, which were on his front door, into their residence. Sullivan grabbed his groceries from an unknown black male and proceeded to take them back into his apartment. Sullivan stated that this is the second time that they have taken his groceries before. Sullivan then went back into the adjacent apartment to gather the rest of his stolen groceries. While inside the adjacent apartment, he was abused with a gun and a monkey wrench, which was wielded by Shamika Philidor. Sullivan had an injury to his head, but wasn't sure if it was from the monkey wrench or the gun. Sullivan did not know that he was hit in the chest with a firearm by Philidor. Sullivan left some groceries and went back into his apartment and closed the door. Philidor then kicked the door open with a gun in her hand and proceeded to threaten him and his wife, Gabriela Valdez. Philidor then took groceries. It looks like Philidor then took his groceries and went back to her house.
Yes. On the last page of the affidavit, it says that Philidor stated they had a recipe for the groceries, and that Sullivan forced his way into her home, and so she wished to press charges for entering her residence and taking the groceries. So I'm assuming
His groceries?
this charge is because he entered her apartment to get his groceries back. Yes, Your Honor.
There's no PC for that. No, ma'am. O-R, O-R, and no PC. No PC for burglary, no PC for trespass,
Yes, sir. Disorderly,
for that burglary on a dwelling.
but disorderly conduct stay in my country.
For the disorderly conduct, yeah, you can't just, yeah. Can we pause for a minute? I just got to go off the record. Mr. Tyson? I'm good, sir. Are you Antoine Tyson?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Tyson, looks like you failed to appear. You failed to appear for a case management conference, and the judge revoked your bond, but he set a bond at $5,000. Public defender is appointed. Looks like they were previously appointed on your case. Good luck to you. Bryson Washik? Bryson Washik? Sir, you are charged with fraud, illegal use of credit cards, fraud, impersonating or misrepresenting yourself, Florida Communications Fraud Act violation, petty theft of $100 or more, possession of alcohol by a person under 21, and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Probable cause has previously been found. The bonds will be stayed at the amounts in the arrest warrant. You are not to return to the scene of the offense. You are not to have any contact with the victims. You are not to possess or use any drugs while you are on release. You are not to use any firearms, weapons, or ammunition, and you are not to use any alcohol while you are on release. Good luck to you, sir. Lionel Wilkerson. Mr. Wilkerson, you were arrested on a charge of aggravated battery with a weapon and battery on a person 65 years old or more. There's probable cause to support the arrest. I will appoint the public defender's office. Your bond on count 1, the aggravated battery charge, will be set at $2,500. It will be set at $7,500 on count 2. You're to have no contact with the victim. You're not to return to the scene. You're not to possess or use any drugs or alcohol. You can't possess or use any firearms, weapons, or ammunition. On the disorderly conduct charge, I'm going to revoke your revoke your OR on that case, and I'm going to set your new bond at $1,000. Good luck to you, sir.
Ma'am, the guy had a gun.
Well, that's a defense you'll talk to your attorney about, okay? Next case is Jonathan Urema. Mr. Urema, you were arrested on a charge of possession of heroin. There's PC for that charge. Public Defender's Office is appointed. Your bond is stated $1,000. You're not to return to the scene of the offense. You're not to use any drugs or alcohol while you are out on release. You're not to use any firearms, weapons, or ammunition while you are out on release. Good luck to you. Is this the traffic? Yes. Are you Becky Lee Barker?
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, Ms. Barker, you were arrested for DUI.
Yes.
There's probable cause to support your arrest. Public Defender's Office is appointed and your bond is stayed. No, this is the 2 point. No. Your blood alcohol level was .242. Your bond is set at $2,500. You are not to return to the scene of the offense, and you are not to drive unless you have a valid driver's license. You are not to consume any alcohol while you are out on release. You are also not to consume any drugs unless you have a valid, not to consume any drugs unless you have a valid prescription. Good luck to you. Sean Allen Duro. Mr. Duro, you are charged with no valid driver's license and no motorcycle license. Those are two charges that I found probable cause for. I will appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Your bond will be stayed at $1,000 and $200. You are not to drive unless you have a valid driver's license. You are not to consume any alcohol or drugs. And you are not to possess any firearms, weapons, or ammunition. Good luck to you, sir. Not to drive unless he has a valid driver license. And then I have Jamal Bell.
Your Honor, may I be heard on probable cause?
Mm-hmm.
Your Honor, the defense takes the position that there's no probable cause for the charged crime of petty theft. The victim states that he drove the defendant and then the defendant went to an ATM to get money, to which he pulled out all that he had. He believed that he had more. He tried to call several friends and no one was able to help him, and he tried to make a payment arrangement, but the victim refused. This is a statement that came from the victim. So for this reason, there's no intent that's shown that he intended to permanently or temporarily deprive anyone.
State.
At the time that he entered the cab and he accepted the ride, he was aware that it was going to be $500. He didn't have the money. And other than that, there's not much more in the affidavit. So I'll leave this to the discretion of the judge.
And Your Honor, may I respond? Although he was told that it was going to be the amount, it does appear that he believed that he had the money in the ATM. He asked the taxi driver to take him to the ATM, in which he tried to draw money out. He did draw out money from that ATM and tried to provide that to the taxi driver, and then asked if a payment arrangement could be made after he couldn't get that money from any friends or other individuals. So there's no PC here for any type of intent.
There's probable cause for petty theft. But I'm going to release the defendant OR. Public defenders appointed. And as a condition,
She's still blind.
no drugs or alcohol while you're on release.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, they pulled him already.
Oh, he gone? Okay, I was just gonna tell him, don't get in that cab. Sir, don't get in no more cab ride. Whatever that cab company was, you can't go back to that cab company anymore, okay? All right, that was it. I got to talk faster. Y'all snatching folks up. Oh, I got it on there. Okay.
And no return and no alcohol.
And don't get in those cabs anymore. Are you Booker Joe, is it Bunner? Okay. Ms. Bunner, you were charged with petty theft, retail petty theft. There's probable cause to support the arrest. I will appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Your bond will be stayed at $500. You are not to return to the scene of the offense. You are not to consume any drugs or alcohol while you are out on release. Good luck to you. Next one is Jaden Isaacs. I'm sorry? Any prior criminal history? Okay. So Ms. Isaacs was arrested for a retail petty theft. There is probable cause to support the arrest. You do qualify for PTR, and so you're going to be released on PTR.
Okay.
Good luck to you. This one goes like this. The next one is Jamar Jarvis.
Nope.
That was straight PTR, correct?
Great
Sorry.
PTR, yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Jamar Jarvis, you have, it was just straight PTR on the last lady.
Yes.
Whatever y'all's conditions are. Oh, I didn't have no conditions. So she doesn't have any. I thought y'all had like a special sauce, like, I'll know next time. All right, Mr. Jarvis, you are charged with battery, or you were arrested on a charge of battery. There is probable cause to support the arrest. I will appoint the Public Defender's Office. Your bond is set at $1,000. You are to have no contact with the victim, and you are not to return to the scene of the offense. You are not to use any drugs or alcohol, and you are not to use any firearms, weapons, or ammunition. In your Division 15 case, you were out on bond.
Knowledge, that case has not been filed on. The arrest happened on June 14th.
You were out on bond. You got out on bond on June 13th. And then on July 8th, this arrest happened. Your bond is revoked. New bond is set at none, and that's not to be modified. Or I don't have to say that because I'm the one that's doing the modifications. You don't have to put that not to be modified. That's just what I'm used to saying. Trespass on property after a structure. Talisha McMiller.
She was a refusal.
Your Honor, we'd
Yes,
asked
ma'am.
to reset this. The state has extended a credit time serve offer to her.
Does she know that it's a credit for times, like she's refused and she's back there, or?
She didn't get out of bed this morning. She said she wasn't going.
I'm not meaning anything by this. I'm just asking a question. You still keeping your credit for time served offer open?
Is that an offer for me?
Yes, it's a trespass after.
No pressure, I'm just asking. Let's go to the next one.
Yeah,
Julius,
I've never had that happen before, so,
I'll reset it.
okay, thank you, Your Honor.
You don't qualify. She will give you a bond.
Tomorrow is the 10th. Julius Miles? Sir, is that your name?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Miles, you are charged with trespass on property after a warning. We're not charged with it, you were arrested for that. And you were arrested for criminal mischief. There's probable cause to support the charges. I will appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Your bond will be stayed at $500 on both of those counts. You are not to return to the scene of the offense, and you're not to use any drugs while you are out on release, and you're not to use any alcohol while you are out on release. Good luck to you.
Your Honor, may I have one moment? I apologize, Your Honor. Your Honor, the state has offered given an offer to Mr. Vitale.
And what's the offer, withholding court costs?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay,
And I do have a plea form for Your Honor.
all right.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Vital, your attorney tells me you want to enter a plea today to the charge of trespass on property after a warning.
Yes, ma'am.
This plea form has your name at the top and signature at the bottom. Did you initial and sign, did you sign your plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you read it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand what you were reading?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of today of any drugs or medicine or alcohol?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone forced you to plea?
No, ma'am.
Do you have any kind of mental condition that would make you confused or not understand what's going on?
No, ma'am.
Are you thinking clearly?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir, you are entering a plea today to trespass on property after a warning. There's probable cause in this affidavit to support the plea. It is punishable by up to a year in jail, $1,000 fine, and a year of probation. Any questions about the maximum penalty? On your plea form, it lists the rights that you give up by pleading. You give up your right to a trial, your right to testify or choose to remain silent. You give up your right to call your own witnesses and question the state's witnesses and make the state prove you're guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Any questions about that?
No, ma'am.
And were you on probation for anything when you got this charge?
No, ma'am.
If you were, this plea is going to be used to prove the violation against you. Any questions? And do you need to speak to an immigration attorney about immigration consequences? Okay, because if you're not a U.S. citizen, by entering a plea, you will be subjected to deportation proceedings. Any questions about that? All right, and okay. Like I said, there is a factual basis to accept your plea. A guilty plea admits the crime, not guilty denies it. No contest says you don't admit or deny you're pleading in your best interest. How do you plead to trespass on property after a warning?
No contest.
I'll accept the no contest plea, find that you're entering it freely and voluntarily, making a knowing, intelligent waiver, you understand the consequences. I'm going to withhold adjudication of guilt in order that you serve 2 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2 days' time served. Your court costs are going to be reduced to a civil judgment. Good luck to you, sir.
Your Honor, may we have a no return to the
And no return, don't go back. Don't go back. Now, wait, hold on. Didn't they tell you that before, sir? Where do you keep going back to? What's that South Conway Road?
That was it's kind of like the same situation somebody asked me about.
Answer the question she asked you. What is it? Where were you?
What is that South Conway, 720 South Conway?
Where were you?
Oh, I was somewhere by Conway Highway by Highway.
Is that a house, a business, or what?
Apartment complex.
Okay, don't go back there anymore.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't go back. Because you're gonna find yourself right back here. And you'll just be coming in and out, and eventually you're gonna get to the point where the state is gonna say, no, I'm not gonna give him credit for time served. Okay? Good luck to you. Gerald Welch. Mr. Welch, you're charged with, you were arrested for disorderly intoxication and battery. There's probable cause to support the arrest. I will appoint the public defender's office. Your bond is stayed at $250 and $500. You're not to return to the scene of the offense. You're to have no contact with the victim. You're not to possess or use any drugs or alcohol. And you are not to, no, I'll just leave it at that. Good luck to you, sir.
Your Honor, before we move on from these pleables, the offer for Talisha McMiller Simmons, it does stand. This is her first trespass, so the offer is going to be the same
Okay,
today, tomorrow, and whenever it gets to court.
all right. Taj Jasmine?
Yes, this is she.
All right, Miss Jasmine, you were arrested on an out-of-county warrant out of Seminole County.
Right.
It's for petty theft,
Right.
and the bond on that case is set at $263. Good luck to you.
I was,
Was that Taj Simmons? Jasmine? Who did we just do?
Jasmine,
Okay, and what was it set to?
I didn't hear the bond amount.
Is that, I just see that one, I have, yeah.
had that on my paper. I was, the reason why I was not at court was because I was in the Aspire.
No, stop. You don't want to talk about your case. You don't want to talk about your case. You don't have an attorney here. I'm just here to tell you why you were arrested. As far as any other defenses or anything like that, you really want to just take that up with your attorney, okay? I just don't want you to say anything that could ultimately incriminate you later on, all right?
Okay.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, just so we're clear, what did we do on this one?
I just told her that she was arrested on an out-of-county arrest. I set her bond at $263.
Okay, thank you.
It looks Christopher Darnell Jones. All right, Mr. Jones, you were arrested on an out-of-county warrant out of St. Lucie County for failure to appear. Your bond is set at $10,000. And then, wait, hold on, stop. Nope, that's just a duplicate copy.
It's two, it's one to say FTA, then it say count two. Same case number, but I don't know if it's two counts for, and I know what I don't know if I have two out of A, and then the other one say out of county, count two. It's the same case number.
This doesn't make any sense. Can't possibly have a $10,000 bond on two of the same cases.
Your Honor, what county is it?
It's St. Lucie. Are you on Vine Lake?
No, I was gonna try to get on the clerk of courts for St. Lucie.
Well, let me go through the rest of these. I'll recall Mr. Jones. Let me go to Mr. Forn. Mr. Forn, you were arrested on an out-of-county warrant out of Polk County. Your bond is set at $9,337.56. Danielle Smith.
Your Honor, I'm ready with information on Mr. Jones.
Thank you. Are you Danielle Smith?
Yes.
You were arrested on an out-of-county warrant out of Lake County, Florida. for failing to appear. Your bond is set at $2,000.
Okay.
Recalling Christopher Darnell Jones. Ms. Cunningham, what did you find?
Your Honor, I did pull up the information that was filed in case 2020 CT 2368 in St. Lucie County. It looks like it was only filed on count 1, driving with license suspended prior conviction for suspension in M1.
So what is this count 2 failure to appear? Did they, all I know is that I have 2 warrants, each 10,000 apiece for Mr. Jones. They look as if they are the same. I'm not in a position to be able to say yay or nay on that one, so I'm telling you, sir, it looks like you have 2 warrants, each with a $10,000 bond. St. Lucie's to be notified. They are going to bring you down. They're going to extradite you and bring you down to St. Lucie County. As soon as you get there, please make sure your attorney knows that you might be sitting in jail on $20,000 bond for a no valid DL, and for him to look, or for her to look into that, okay? Good luck to you. Marcianne Thompson.
Was a refusal?
I'm going to waive that person's appearance. They were arrested on out-of-county warrant out of Flagler County. The bond is set at none. All right, the next one is Anthony Bell.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Bell. Mr. Bell, you're here for a violation of probation. You were placed on probation in 2021 CF 8285 for ag assault with a weapon. You were violated based on a new law offense. Your bond in this case is set at none. Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you on the VOP. Good luck to you, sir. Huh? Yes, there's a new law violation. I'm sorry?
We only got one.
No, I'm just reading off of this. You don't have it here. I'm just reading off. I was just telling them the basis for the new law violation.
She's saying we got another case, but that's an add-on.
Yeah, this says add-on.
So you must have been added already.
It was June 7th. That's when he had his IA, it looks like. James Garcia? Okay, so Mr. Garcia refused. He was arrested, I'm going to waive his appearance. He was arrested for a VOP. He was placed on probation for dealing in stolen property in case 2021 CF 695 AO. His violation is that he used cocaine and fentanyl. His bond is set at none. And then there's another case where he is on probation in 2021 CF 753 AO and 795 AO and 1674 and 1675. Actually, it's community control. And the violations are the same, that he used cocaine and fentanyl. And the bonds in all of those cases are set at none.
So he on community control or on probation?
He is on community control on all of his cases, yes, ma'am.
Is he point-
And I am appointing the PD in all of his cases. And then the next case I have is Jessica Leonard. Are you Jessica Leonard?
Yes, ma'am.
And there's a victim in the box. Miss Leonard, you have two cases. No, not yet. Okay. In this first case, there's an aggravated stalking after an injunction, and then an aggravated stalking with a credible threat. Probable cause has already been found. Yes, please swear in the victim.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony shall give you the truth, the whole truth, but nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
State your name for the record.
Crystal Nicole McKnight.
Okay, ma'am, tell me, how are you related to the defendant?
Jessica Leonard is my current ex-girlfriend, and
Your current ex-girlfriend? Okay. Current or ex?
ex.
Okay.
As of yesterday, ex.
As of yesterday, ex. Okay. Are you afraid of Miss Leonard?
Most definitely. And also her cousin been writing threats on her live video yesterday.
Okay, and so what's your position with regard to bond?
No bond. This is her second time violating her probation.
Okay.
Your Honor, the defense would ask for this to be rolled to tomorrow and the warrant be provided. It's not on clerks. I don't have it, and the state stated that she also does not have it.
Oh, I signed it yesterday. I have it.
Okay.
What? Right here. Can I, am I connected to a printer in here? Mm-hmm. Sharon, what's your last name? McLean. There you are. Okay. Oh, it says it's trying to connect. It's not. I don't. I wonder if. No, it's like I'm not. It's saying it's updating this folder. I don't know. SHERRLN.MCLEAN at.
I have the last 2 pages of the warrant. I just don't have the narrative, so as long as that printed.
Thank you.
We literally just got 1, 2 cases. And then in the DB. Mhm. Hmm? State and Defense, have you had enough time to just review it right quick?
Need 1 moment, Your Honor. Ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Okay. So, ma'am, your position is that you do not want Miss Leonard out. You want her to stay in jail on no bond, correct?
Correct.
All right. And you said that you are fearful of her.
Very much so.
Okay. All right. Let me address one quick thing first. In the state of Florida, unless an individual is arrested on a capital offense or under other circumstances, which this case does not fall in, a defendant is entitled to a bond under the Florida Constitution. So she has to get a bond,
Okay.
but a victim is entitled to tell me what their concerns are, because I need to know that as a judge in order to, when I'm fashioning conditions of release. So I appreciate you telling me and giving me that type of input, because it does greatly help me.
Yes, ma'am.
State, anything you wish to ask the victim in this case?
Yes, Your Honor. Has anything like this ever happened before?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you believe there were any drugs or alcohol involved in this?
Well, on Facebook, when she was Facebook Live, she was stating that she was finna go smoke her marijuana.
Okay. And you said you are fearful.
Yes, ma'am, very much so.
Do you live with the defendant?
No, ma'am.
And you do not wish to have contact?
I have an injunction on her for life, and it's part of her probation.
Understood. No further questions.
Ms. Cunningham, do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. On this case, I'm going to set the bond on count number 1 at $15,000 and on count number 2 at $7,500. You were to have no contact with the victim. You were not to return to the scene of the offense. You are not to possess or consume any drugs without a valid prescription. You are not to possess or use any weapons, firearms, or ammunition and you are not to consume any alcohol. You are to have no, I think I said no contact with the victim. There's also a violation of probation out of Seminole County. Looks like you were placed on, they don't say. Just you were placed on probation in Seminole County, and the bond in that case is set at none. Public Defender's Office is appointed on the aggravated stalking case. All right, that adjourns that matter. The next case is Benjamin Paulus.
Medical Yana?
Okay, well, I'm waiving his appearance. He has an no. He has a VOP arrest out of Division 16 for possession of fentanyl and carrying a concealed firearm. His bond is set at none. And I'm appointing the PD to represent him. And then the last case I have is Colin Green. Mr. Green, you were arrested on a charge of disorderly conduct.
Your Honor, I've copied it off of what? So they this isn't yours.
Ms. Cunningham?
So I didn't get an offer from the state.
Adjudication credit for time served.
May I have just a moment?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, Mr. Green would like to take that offer. I do have a signed plea form for you.
Okay. Mr. Green, tell me your full name, please.
Colin William Green.
And do you read, write, and understand English?
Yes, I do, ma'am.
This plea form's in English. Did you read and understand it? It has your name at the top. Did you sign it at the bottom?
Yeah, yeah.
You're entering a plea today to disorderly conduct. It's punishable by up to 60 days in jail and a $500 fine and 6 months of probation. Any questions about the maximum penalties? Are you under the influence of any drugs, medicine, or alcohol? Is anyone forcing you to plea? Do you have any kind of mental condition that would make you confused or not understand what's going on?
No, I don't.
Are you thinking clearly?
100%.
100%. By entering a plea today, you're going to be giving up your right to a trial, your right to testify or choose to remain silent. You also give up your right to call your own witnesses, question the state's witnesses, and make the state prove that you are guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Any questions about the rights that you give up?
No, ma'am.
All right. And were you on probation when you got this charge?
I was not, no.
Okay, if you were, this plea would be used to prove the violation against you. Any questions about that? And do you need to speak to an immigration attorney about immigration consequences?
I don't.
Because if a person's not a U.S. citizen, by entering a plea, they will be subjected to deportation proceedings. Any questions about that?
Ma'am.
Are you relying on any other promises other than what I've told you about this plea and sentence?
Did anyone else promise you anything other than what you
Oh, no, no, no. No, ma'am.
All right, then. There is a factual basis to accept your plea based upon what I read in the police affidavit. So how do you plead to the charge of disorderly conduct?
Nope.
A guilty plea is going to admit the crime.
Okay.
Not, no contest, okay, so the no contest Plea will be accepted. I find that you're entering it freely and voluntarily, making a knowing, intelligent waiver. You understand the consequences. I'm going to adjudicate you guilty, 2 days. Order that you serve 1 day in the Orange County Jail with credit for 1 day time served. Court costs are going to be reduced to a civil judgment.
Perfect, thank you, ma'am.
All right, you have 30 days to appeal.
You already-
You need an attorney, I'll appoint one. Good luck to you. All right, we are adjourned for the day.
Your Honor?
Not really, yes.
The individual, I can't remember her name, that the state was telling us that they would do the case, we're just resetting that, or did you keep her waived?
McMiller Simmons.
Thank you.
I thought, no, it was the plea offer is gonna stay open.
Yes, Your Honor, I just wanted to be sure, because I didn't write it down.
Oh, no, yeah, the plea offer is still open.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah, she's reset for tomorrow. All right, so I will see everyone tomorrow. All right, it's Dinesy Lopez Morera.
Your Honor, Dominique Cunningham from the Office of the Public Defender.
Good morning, Ms. Cunningham.
Good morning.
Ms. Lopez Morera, you were arrested on a charge of battery. There's probable cause to support the arrest. I will appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. You are to have no contact with the victim. You are not to return to the scene of the offense, and you are not to possess any drugs, weapons, firearms, or ammunition while you are out on bond. Good luck to you. And the bond amount is going to be set at $1,000. Thank you. Edgardo Chachin Bello.
He has a victim that also speaks Spanish.
Okay. So is it possible for him not to wear the headphones so that the interpreter can just speak over the overhead?
Disregard, Your Honor.
Oh, no, that's wrong? Okay.
It's driving.
Sir, how do you say your name?
Edgardo.
Edgardo. Oh, your last name too.
Chacín Bello.
Chacín Bello. Mr. Chacín Bello, you were arrested on a charge of introducing contraband to a detention facility. There's probable cause to support the arrest. I will appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you, and your bond is going to be set at $1,000. While you are out on bond, you are not to possess any drugs, weapons, firearms, or ammunition. On your other case, you were arrested for no valid driver license, violation of the non-resident tag requirement, and for not having a motor vehicle registration. There's probable cause to support the arrests. I will appoint the Public Defender's Office in that case as well. Your bonds will be stayed at $500, $100, and $100 respectively. You cannot drive unless you have a valid driver's license, and you cannot possess any drugs, weapons, firearms, or ammunition while you are out on bond. Good luck to you, sir. Miguel Enriquez Gonzalez. Thank you. Diego Tavares Fleury. Mr. Tavares, you were arrested for failure to appear on a warrant out of Orange County. Your bond is set at $500. Good luck, sir.
Eso es todo. Eso es todo.
Is that all?
Yes. Sir, are you Cesar Figueroa? Mr. Fig, oh, she needs the interpreter. Okay, thank you. So, Madam Interpreter, this is the case where the victim needs an interpreter.
Okay.
All right. Sir, are you Cesar Figueroa?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Figueroa, you are charged with domestic violence battery. There is probable cause to support the arrest. And you-
Señor,
Go ahead.
señor, usted fue puesto bajo arresto por agresión física por violencia doméstica. Existen los indicios de criminalidad para su arresto.
You do not qualify for the services of the Public Defender's Office, so I will not appoint them at this time.
Usted no cumple con los requisitos para que se le designe el abogado de oficio y por lo tanto en estos momentos no se le ha designado.
Before I get to the issue regarding setting a bond amount, I need to speak to the victim in the case who's standing in the witness box. Ma'am, would you please raise your right hand so that the clerk can swear you in, please?
Señora, por favor, levante la mano derecha para prestar juramento.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Jura y promete que el testimonio que va a prestar será la verdad, solamente la verdad y nada más que la verdad, ¿lo jura ante Dios?
Sí.
Please state
Yes.
your name for the record.
Por favor, diga su nombre completo para que conste en actas.
Paola Carolina Sierra Castillo.
Paola Carolina Sierra Castillo.
Ms. Castillo, how do you know Mr. Figueroa?
Señora Castillo, ¿de qué conoce usted al señor Figueroa?
Porque trabajábamos juntos.
We used to work together.
And you're here today to tell me about this particular case. What would you like the court to know?
Usted se encuentra aquí hoy para hablarme de este caso en particular. ¿Qué es lo que usted desea que este juzgado conozca?
Bueno, que cuando el policía fue, pues yo estaba como nerviosa y obviamente yo dije que estábamos peleando porque estábamos peleando, pero también él como que yo me caí, él me intentó agarrar, o sea, para subirme, levantarme, y yo como que dije que me había arrastrado, porque yo sentí que me había arrastrado, pero es porque él me quería también levantar. Entonces yo en ese momento dije eso porque también estaba nerviosa, habíamos peleado, pero realmente yo no considero que haya sido un problema como para que llegara a este nivel, porque tampoco nosotros estábamos discutiendo así.
Okay, so when the policeman came, I was nervous, and we had been arguing, and he asked me about that, and I told him that we had been arguing. But what happened was that I fell, and when I fell, he grabbed me to lift me up. But I thought that he had moved me when he grabbed me, and I told that to the policeman because I was nervous and we were arguing, but I don't consider that the argument we were having merits this result.
Is Mr. Figueroa your boyfriend?
Is my boyfriend, yes.
Okay, can you do me a favor, please? Can you speak either all Spanish or all English?
Señora, hágame un favor. Por favor, hable en inglés o en español, solamente en uno de los dos idiomas.
Do you feel more comfortable with all Spanish?
Sí.
¿Prefiere usted el español? Yes.
Okay. So you said Mr. Figueroa is your boyfriend?
Así que entonces usted dijo que el señor Figueroa es su novio.
Sí.
Yes.
Do you live together?
¿Ustedes conviven?
Sí.
Yes.
Are you afraid of him?
¿Usted le teme?
No,
No.
Do you want him to come live with you?
¿Usted desea que él regrese a vivir con usted?
sí.
Yes.
If you find yourself in a situation, a dangerous situation, would you be willing to call 911?
Señora, si usted se encontrase en una situación peligrosa, ¿llamaría al 911?
Claro, sí.
Yes, of course.
State, do you have any questions for Ms. Castillo?
No question.
La fiscalía tiene alguna pregunta para la señora Castillo. No tenemos preguntas.
No questions, Your Honor. The state would just like to bring to the court's attention that the evidence and the marks, as well as the rips to the victim's pants, are consistent with her being dragged, and the statement did state that she was pulled by her hair by the defendant.
Su señoría, no tenemos preguntas para la testigo, pero sí queremos que este juzgado esté consciente de que las señales que ella tenía en su cuerpo, al igual que la ropa donde estaba rota, eran consistentes con que la hayan arrastrado, y ella inicialmente dijo que la habían arrastrado por el pelo.
Thank you. Ms. Cunningham, do you have any questions?
Licenciada, ¿tiene usted alguna pregunta? No, su señoría.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Castillo. You may,
Muchas
you
gracias.
may have a seat.
Muchas gracias, señora Castillo. Puede tomar asiento.
No prior criminal history? Okay, thank you. I'm going to set the bond at $1,500. You were to have no hostile contact based on the testimony from Ms. Castillo. I will allow you to return to the residence based on the testimony of Ms. Castillo. You are not to possess any drugs, weapons, or alcohol, or ammunition or firearms while you are on release.
Señor, se concede fianza por la cantidad de $1,500. Se le prohíbe el contacto hostil con la señora Castillo, y esto basado en el testimonio de ella. También se le permitirá regresar a la casa basándonos en el testimonio de la señora Castillo. Mientras usted se encuentre libre bajo fianza, se le prohíbe la tenencia de todo tipo de drogas, armas, armas de fuego, alcohol y municiones.
All right, thank you very much. All right, Madam Interpreter, that's all that we have for Spanish-speaking defendants today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, you as well.
Jonathan Alvarez. Good morning, Mr. Alvarez. You were arrested on a charge of criminal mischief and sanitary nuisance. There's probable cause to support your arrest. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bonds will be stayed at $1,000 and $250. You are not to possess any drugs, weapons, firearms, or ammunition while you are on release. This case is before me in my division, so let me just tell you right now, and I need you to pay attention.
Yes, ma'am.
Do not commit any new law offenses while you are out on bond, for which a judge finds probable cause. If you do, the bond on this case will be revoked and set at none. Do you have any questions, sir, about what would happen if you get arrested again?
No, but I have another question, like a different separate question.
You might want to talk with her about that, but I gotta go to the next one, who's right behind you. Lauren Zimmer. She has failed to appear. She was arrested on a failure to appear out of Orange County. I'm waiving her appearance. The bond on that case is set at none. Next case, Tara Gaynor. Good morning, Ms. Gaynor.
Good morning, Your Honor.
You were arrested on an out-of-county warrant out of Seminole County. The bond on that case is set at $995. It's
Yes,
up to you,
ma'am.
This next case is Talisha McMiller Simmons, the reset from yesterday.
Your Honor, may I have a moment?
Yes, ma'am.
Yesterday, they gave me an offer. It's for going so far. You want to take it? I just want to talk about this. No contract. When you get it, like, get into it. When you're going to give up the rights
ma'am.
Your Honor, yesterday, the state did offer Ms. McMiller Simmons an offer of a withhold of adjudication, credit for time served, court costs, and no return. Would the court be willing to take that offer at this time?
Yes. You have a plea form?
I do. May I approach?
Yes. Ms. McMiller, tell me your full name and your birthday.
Talisha Janelle McMiller Simmons.
Okay, and Ms. McMiller Simmons, do you read, write, and understand English?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you read and understand the plea form?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and did you have any questions about the plea form you want to ask me?
No, ma'am. No, Your Honor.
Okay. Are you under the influence today of any drugs, medicine, or alcohol?
No, Your Honor.
Has anyone forced you to plea today?
No.
Do you have any kind of mental condition that would make you confused or not understand what's going on?
No, Your Honor.
You're entering a plea to trespass on property after a warning. You can get up to a year in jail, a $1,000 fine, and a year of probation. Any questions about the maximum penalty?
No, Your Honor.
The plea form talks about the rights that you give up. So you're going to be giving up your right to a trial, your right to testify or choose to remain silent, your right to call your own witnesses, question the state's witnesses, and make the state prove you're guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Any questions, ma'am, about the right you give up?
No, I do not.
All right, were you on probation when you got this charge?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, because if you were, this plea is going to be used to prove the violation against you. And do you need to speak to an immigration attorney about immigration consequences?
No.
Because if you're not a U.S. citizen, by entering a plea, you will be subjected to deportation proceedings. Any questions about that?
No.
Okay, then. Based upon what I read in the charging affidavit, there is a factual basis to accept your plea to the charge of trespass on property after a warning, if that's what you want to do. A
Yes,
guilty
Your Honor.
plea will admit the crime. Not guilty denies it, and no contest says you don't admit or deny you're pleading in your best interest. How do you plead?
No contest, Your Honor.
Okay, I will accept the no contest plea, find that you're entering it freely and voluntarily. You're making a knowing, intelligent waiver. You understand the consequences. I'm going to withhold adjudication of guilt. Is it 3 days credit for time served? Yes. I will order that you serve 3 days in jail with credit for 3 days time served. I will impose court cost. You are not to return to 5820 Edgewater Drive. That's the Wawa at Edgewater. So you can't go back there, Ms. McMiller.
Yes, ma'am.
Those court costs are going to be reduced to a civil judgment. You have 30 days to file a written notice of appeal, or you waive that right, and if you need an attorney, I will appoint one.
Yes, ma'am.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Next case is Amani Anderson. Ms. Anderson, you were arrested on a charge of aggravated battery with a weapon, domestic violence.
Yes.
There is probable cause to support the arrest. I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Your bond in this case is going to be set at $5,000. You are to have no contact with the victim. You can return to the house one time with law enforcement to collect your belongings. You are not to possess any drugs, weapons, firearms, or ammunition while you are out on bond. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Christopher Gonzalez. Mr. Gonzalez, you have 2 cases. On your first case, you're charged with battery, 1 prior domestic violence. There is probable cause to support the arrest, and I am going to appoint the public defender's office. The bond is set at $1,500. You are to have no contact with the victim, and you are not to return. You cannot possess any drugs, weapons, firearms, or ammunition.
Your Honor, what county is the violation of probation out of? Collier? Thank you.
Thank you. And then there's a VOP.
Time to talk to the attorney today. It's just for the charges to be read.
Based on the new law arrest, The court finds that that new law arrest supports a violation of your probation. Your bond is now set at none on the violation of probation. Good luck to you, sir.
Is that outside of the total, is that out of county? Or is it, you talking about this, the out of
Oh, wait, stop, bring him back, bring him back, bring him back, bring him back. Well, no, it is set at none.
Okay,
His
I was
bond
just
is set at
making sure
none.
he didn't know.
No, his bond is set at none, but on the battery, I set it at, 1,500.
Thank you.
Okay. Just so that that it's clear, the bond on the VOP is set at none, but the bond on the battery charge is set at 1,500.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Antoine Henderson,
Bonded, Your Honor.
bonded. Rosa Melendez.
Yes.
Ms. Melendez, you were arrested on a charge of aggravated assault, domestic violence, and battery domestic violence. There's probable cause to support the arrest.
Your Honor,
Yes, ma'am.
when the court is imposing conditions and bond, I'd just like to point to the court's attention that she is also the victim in the case with Mr. Rodriguez. That'll come up, I think, in a few people, because he was also arrested for battery domestic violence. So I just wanted to bring that to the court's attention.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. I will appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. You were to have no contact with the victim in the case or the other, with Angelo. You are not to return to the scene of the offense.
Your Honor,
I know, it's because, but in the affidavit, it says Angelo primarily lives at the above residence, and she frequents the home at 2316 Rutledge Avenue and at the above residence.
Your Honor, we'd ask that the condition just be to maintain separate residences.
Okay. So I'll put on there, maintain separate residence. While you are out on bond, you are not to possess any drugs, weapons, firearms, or ammunition. On count number 1, I'm going to set the bond at $3,500. On count number 2, the bond will be set at $150.
Your Honor, may we have a one-time return with law enforcement so she can gather her belongings?
Yes, ma'am. Next case is Antonio White. Mr. White, you were arrested for battery, domestic violence, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and false imprisonment, domestic violence. There is probable cause to support your arrest, and I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond on count 1 is $750, on count 2, $3,500, on count 3, $750. You were out on bond for a charge of possession of cocaine and possession of drug paraphernalia.
Your Honor, may I be heard? I apologize.
Give me a minute. 2022 CF 6950. Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, that case has not been filed on. It's from June 16th, and it's a possession of cocaine, so I do know that the state would have to wait until the FDLE report comes back.
And he had just bonded out on that and was given a bond. Thank you very much. Your bond in that case will be revoked, and your new bond will be set at none. Good luck to you, sir. No, I didn't. On the other one, I need to say no return, no contact with the victim. And no weapons, firearms, or ammunition, not to possess any drugs. Thank you so much for catching that for me. Deborah Abney. Miss Abney, you were arrested for battery. There's probable cause to support the arrest. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond will be set at $1,000. You were to have no contact and not return to the scene of the offense.
Your Honor, was that 1,000?
1,000.
Thank you.
Not to return to the scene of the offense. That's the Advent Health Hospital on Fowler Grove Road or Boulevard. Is that your husband that was in the hospital?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do y'all live together?
Yes, ma'am.
Is he out there?
Is he still in the hospital?
For right now, I'm gonna do no contact.
Ma'am.
Don't talk about your case. I don't want you to talk about the facts of your case.
Your Honor, the victim in the case does have cancer. They didn't get a statement from him. So because of that reason, and that is her husband, we would ask for no hostile contact in this case.
No hostile contact then. No drugs, weapons, firearms, or ammunition while you're out. Good luck to you.
And Your Honor, is she able to return to the hospital to see him?
I got to pick up my stuff.
I don't know if.
You'd have to pay $100 to a bondsman.
No,
Today,
no, that's rude. That's, let me think about it. Give me a minute.
I got to get $100.
No, no. She can take that up with the Division 50 judge, and they can get testimony from Advent Health to see if they want her there. Next case is Michael DeVito. Mr. DeVito, you were arrested on a charge of domestic violence battery. There's probable cause to support the arrest. I'm appointing the public defender to represent you. The bond is set at $1,500. You are to have no contact with the victim and not return to the scene. You cannot possess any drugs, weapons, firearms, or ammunition. In your felony case, possession of cocaine, 2022 CF 6508AO, I'm revoking your bond. Your new bond is set at none. In the battery case, 2022 MM 3798AO, revoking your bond. Your new bond is set at $2,500. Good luck to you. Emily Parker. Ms. Parker, you were arrested for domestic violence battery. There's probable cause to support your arrest. You don't qualify for the services of the Public Defender's Office, so I won't be able to appoint that office to represent you. Sir, tell me your full name, please.
Roland Wilson.
Sir, raise your right hand. The clerk will swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yep.
Thank you.
Mr. Wilson, how are you related to Emily Parker?
Friend.
Do you live together?
Yes.
And are you the victim in the case?
Yes.
And what would you like the court to know about the,
That I would like a no contact order, but also I'm gonna have to get her out. I just need a few days. Just give me a few days to like put stuff in storage, stuff like that. I need a low bond because I know I'm the one gonna pay it. I can't afford it to get another place, get her out. So I'm asking that you do release her, tell her no alcohol, and hope for the best.
so I couldn't understand you, but do you want contact or no contact?
No contact.
No contact. Okay, then. Are you afraid of her?
No.
Okay, but you just want no contact.
No contact.
And
Me or my family, anybody. Just
Contact
give me a few
with-
days to just go. We can go our ways,
okay.
please. A low bond, because I gotta buy it. I gotta pay for that too. I guarantee it. I gotta help her out because she's always helped me out. I mean, it is what it is.
All right.
I just need
Okay.
like 3 or 4 days to get out.
Okay, I got it. Thank you. State, is there anything you wish to ask Mr. Wilson?
No, Your Honor, I believe you covered everything.
Ms. Cunningham?
Your Honor.
All right. She does? Okay, thank you so much. I'm going to set the bond at $1,500. You are not to have any contact with the victim in the case. You are not to return to the scene of the offense. You are not to possess any drugs, firearms, weapons, or ammunition, and you are not to possess any alcohol while you are, or use any alcohol while you are out on bond.
She
Good luck to
lives
you.
there. Oh.
I'm sorry?
She lives there.
Is it your house or her
It's
house?
both.
So who's moving?
Me, I'm going.
Oh, you're leaving?
Yeah, I'm definitely
Oh,
going.
okay, well then she
Wait,
can,
Emily,
she
get
can
her
go
back,
back.
please. Why is she leaving?
She can go back. I'll just put maintain separate residences.
Right.
Okay, so
So
you're
I'll
getting
get a
yours-
warning and stuff before she gets there, right?
Well,
I want the cops there.
well, you can get your stuff out.
Hmm? Yeah, but she's not gonna, she has to come and get stuff for like 3 or 4 days, because it's gonna take, it's a few days, you know what I mean? Because we have a pretty big place, and I have to get couches, TVs, all kinds of stuff. I have to go get a storage truck. So all I'm saying is, she'll probably need to come there, get some stuff when she gets out. When I bond her out tonight, she'll need clothes and all that stuff. Then just give me a week, 3 days, I don't know.
Okay. Good luck.
It's complicated, it's expensive out there to get another place.
Well, no, it's her house. So she can stay there.
Yeah, but we split the rent, but it's in her name. I've stayed there for a while.
But they just need to have no contact until they can get their stuff separated. No hostile contact until they can get their stuff separated. Once their stuff is separated, no contact. I don't know how
Yeah,
you're gonna check
yeah.
box on that one,
I
but
don't
it just, that's
Your,
the best, apparently that's how their living situation is.
Your Honor, I would just recommend from the state's side that maybe she not be bonded out until everything has been moved.
Your Honor.
No, she's a general manager. She's
I
gotta go to
believe that
work.
if we do a no contact except through a third party, that way she would be able to contact a third party of his and just say, hey, I'm coming to the house, so that he is aware of it.
Okay, so then no contact except through a third party.
Yes,
Okay.
so I just want to make sure that the victim understands that she's gonna have to contact someone that he knows.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so it'll be no contact except through a third party. And then that third party can contact him, and then he can come to the house and pick up his stuff.
Or whatever he needs
No,
to do.
no, she can come when I leave.
They can coordinate it so they're
Okay, they
not
can
at the house
coordinate it.
together.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Sorry, Your Honor.
Got it. Thank you so much. Ooh. Ja'Cory Payne Blunt,
Hey, good afternoon, Your Honor.
how are you doing, sir? Good afternoon to you. You've been charged with or arrested for assault and battery. Well, assault domestic violence is one count and battery domestic violence is the other count. There's probable cause to support the arrests. Public defender is appointed. Bond on count 1 is $500. Bond on count 2 is $1,500. No contact, no return, no drugs, weapons, firearms, or ammunition. The next one is Marcus Robinson.
Your Honor, I apologize. Did he get a one-time return with law enforcement?
Nope, one-time return with law enforcement. Marcus Robinson.
Yeah, but I'm trying to figure out how I can't speak. And she told him.
Mr. Robinson, come forward, please. Mr. Robinson, you were charged with domestic violence battery, or at least that's what you were arrested on.
Yeah.
The Public Defender's Office will be appointed. There's probable cause to support the arrest. Your bond is set at $1,500. You are to have no contact, not return unless it's one time with law enforcement. You are not to possess any drugs, weapons, or alcohol while you are out. No firearms either.
Yes, ma'am.
Good luck to you.
Wait, I can leave there, or?
Angelo Rodriguez. Where's the other one?
He's right here.
You have a bond. You can bond out.
All right, thank you.
There you go.
Are you Angelo Rodriguez?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Rodriguez, you were arrested on a charge of domestic violence battery. There's probable cause to support the arrest. Public Defender's Office is appointed. You are to have no contact with the victim in this case or Ms. Melendez. You are to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any drugs, weapons, firearms, or ammunition. On the battery domestic violence, I'm going to set your bond at $1,500. Good luck to you, sir. Stephen Rombato. Thank you. Mr. Rombato, you were arrested on battery domestic violence. There's probable cause to support the arrest. I will appoint the Public Defender's Office, and your bond is set at $1,500.
Your Honor, there's a victim.
And there's a victim, so I'll take back the bond issue then. Let me see.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Please state your name for the record.
Lindsay Rambato. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Rather afternoon.
Oh, a little bit past it, no
It's
worries.
lunchtime.
All right. Ms. Rombato, how are you related to Mr. Rombato?
I'm his wife.
Okay, and do you live together?
Yes, we do.
Are you afraid of him?
Not at all.
And do you want him to live with you in your home?
Absolutely.
Okay. If you find yourself in a dangerous or emergency situation, will you call 911?
Absolutely. But I'm very confident, Your Honor, that that's not going to happen again. At the age of 56, I think he's learned his lesson that he does not want to be part of this facility anymore. And I know in my heart it's not going to happen. And I'm not saying it to make excuses, but I absolutely, he's a guy who served our country and who has been spending probably 20 years overseas contracting. And he just dealt with all the Afghan refugees, processing them and helping them out up in Virginia. And so I think the tensions of, you know, us moving and some alcohol and being together 24/7, I think it just like culminated into this.
Okay.
Again, I'm not making excuses for it, but I have absolutely no fear of him, nothing. And I would ask that you actually release him on his own recognizance.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Ms.
Thank you, Your Honor.
State, any questions?
No, everything was covered.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor. Do you intend to press charges on this case?
Me?
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely not.
Thank you. No further questions.
All right. The bond on this case will be set at $1,500. You are to have no hostile contact with your wife. No drugs, weapons, firearms, no alcohol while you are out on bond. Good luck to you, sir. Samuel Vidal. Mr. Vidal, you were arrested on domestic violence battery. There's probable cause to support the arrest, and I'm appointing no one. You do not qualify. He doesn't have any dependents. Double over. No, every 2 weeks.
Yeah, so it's not double. It's $1,045.
Sir, do you have any dependents?
Sorry?
Do you have any dependents?
Do you have any kids or anyone that you take care of?
No, ma'am.
He's not gonna be able to afford an attorney. Okay, on your paper, on your affidavit, you're a little over, a couple of $100 over the threshold for qualifying for the public defender's office. So technically, you do not qualify, but I'm going to find that you would not be able to afford an attorney on the salary that you make. So I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Your bond is set at $1,500. You were to have no,
He does qualify for PTR, he has no history.
he has no history? Okay, so go back. Probable cause is found. I will appoint the public defender's office. He's going to be released to PTR. And I'm going to set the bond, though, at $500. But he will have no contact, not to return to the scene of the offense, and not possess any drugs, weapons, firearms, or ammunition, and not possess any alcohol or use any alcohol while he is out on pretrial release. No criminal history. Let's not do a bond on that one since he doesn't have any criminal history. Let's do none. No. So just straight PTR with those conditions, please. Eric Watts. Mr. Watts, you were arrested on a charge of domestic violence battery. I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Ma'am, please raise your right hand to be sworn.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Please state your name for the record.
Rochelle Talbert.
I'm sorry, say it again?
Rochelle Talbert.
All right, Ms. Talbert, how are you related to Mr. Watts?
He's my boyfriend and my daughter's father.
He's your boyfriend and
My daughter's father.
your daughter's father.
Yes, ma'am.
And are you afraid of Mr. Watts?
It's like a yes and a no.
Do you two live together?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you say there's a yes and a no about being afraid of him, why do you say that?
Because I don't really believe he will harm me, but it's certain things and certain things he say and certain actions that he does that puts me at a pause. So I'm unsure of that.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. State, is there anything you wish to ask Ms. Talbert?
Yes, Your Honor, just quickly, if anything like this happens again, are you willing and able to call 911?
Yes.
Would you like to have contact with your boyfriend?
No.
No contact. Okay, and then were your children present when this incident occurred?
Yes.
And has anything like this ever happened in the past?
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Ms. Cunningham?
Hold on one second. Ma'am, the home that you live in, is that in your name?
No, ma'am.
Would you continue to live there at this time, or are you planning to move out?
I am, but I'm not moving out until the end of the month.
Okay. No further questions. Your Honor, at this time, we would request a bond as opposed to pretrial release. And Your Honor, may I be heard as to conditions?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, I do know that the victim has requested to have no contact. We'd ask for that to be no contact except through a third party because they do have a child involved. So if they could have through third parties so they can coordinate any sort of visitation or anything like that. Additionally, the home that she is living in, it actually does belong to the defendant's father, in which has been given permission to stay in. I do know that the victim is going to need time to move out, but as opposed to no return to the scene, we'd ask for them to maintain separate residences.
He does qualify for PTR? Okay.
I know.
Well, I'm going to place him on PTR. Bond is set at $1,500. Also, as a condition, he's to have third-party contact. No contact except for a third party. Maintain a separate residence. No drugs, weapons, firearms, or ammunition. And no alcohol while on bond.
Your Honor, the defendant has stated that he does not want to be on pretrial relief, so we'd ask the court to not order pretrial release. If needed, a higher bond, the defendant said that he would be okay with that as well.
Okay. Request is denied. Next case is Michael Williams.
Are you on PTR?
PTR and bond. Michael Williams.
You have to pay a bond and you'll get out on PTR.
Mr. Williams was arrested on domestic violence battery. There's probable cause to support the arrest. Public defender is appointed. Bond is not set yet until I talk to the victim in the box.
Can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Please state your name for the record.
Jennifer Haven.
Haven?
Haven,
Haven?
H-E-A-V-I-N.
All right, Ms. Haven, how are you related to Mr. Williams?
He's my fiance.
Okay, and are you afraid of Mr. Williams?
Absolutely not. Never.
And do you want to have contact with him?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you two live together?
We do. Mm-hmm. 6 kids.
And if something like this were to happen again, would you call 911?
Yes, absolutely.
State any questions you'd like to ask, Ms. Haven?
Yes, Your Honor. Do you believe that any drugs or alcohol were involved in this incident?
Yes.
Would that be drugs,
Alcohol.
both? Just
Alcohol.
alcohol?
No drugs.
Are you willing to call 911 if anything like this happens in the future?
Yes.
Were your children present when this incident took place?
They were. There was an actual incident. That's the issue.
Okay.
So the report is completely false.
Are there outstanding charges for domestic battery against you from Tennessee and Georgia?
From Georgia.
And did you advise police you didn't want to report because you were fearful that it would be bad for you?
Actually, I don't honestly remember a lot of what I said. The alleged bruises that they saw were not from him, and they were from roller coaster rides. But I can't attest to really why there was a lot of confusion. There was just a lot of confusion. I did not want to talk to the police, and I felt like she was leading what to say, but he has never put hands on me, never will put hands on me. Those bruises did not come from him. And I feel like the report is fabricated. I actually called the police officer to re-explain because I was also under the influence, and I don't really know what was said. So there was no injury to me from him.
Your Honor, no further questions, but the state would like to make arguments regarding release.
Your Honor, I do have questions. Ma'am, does the defendant help take care of your children?
Yes, absolutely.
Would it be a hardship for you to take care of those children on your own?
Absolutely, 100%.
How old are your children?
We've got 2 14-year-olds. Mine are 14, 12, 9, and 7. He's got a 14-year-old and 12-year-old.
And does he help take care of all of the children?
All of
or just-
them.
Okay.
Yes.
And how long have you been together?
3 years.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, state your argument.
I would just like to bring to the court's attention that the affidavit does state that there is reason to believe the defendant will have similar instances like this in the future. It's concerning that there are pending cases out of Georgia and Tennessee, and according to police, Mr. Williams was the one that was heavily intoxicated. So the use of alcohol and the history here would mean that the state's requesting that he not be released without either PTR or other conditions.
Thank you, Ms. Cunningham.
Your Honor, I don't believe that he qualifies for PTR. He is entitled to a bond, so we'd ask for a reasonable bond to be set. Based on the testimony of the victim, he does help take care of the children. It would be a hardship for her to take care of them without him. And as per the affidavit, she did not make any definitive statements of what happened. It seems to have been all speculation coming from the officers. I do understand that they said that he was intoxicated, but they didn't say that she wasn't. And she is testifying that she was also intoxicated. For that reason, we would just ask for a reasonable bond to be set. No drugs, alcohol, or firearms would be an understandable condition, as well as no hostile contact.
As well as what?
No hostile contact.
Oh, okay. Did you say he qualified for PTR? The nature of the charges. Okay, all right. Okay, then. Okay, so he doesn't qualify for PTR. I'm not going to order that PTR supervise him. The bond will be set at $1,500. He's to have no hostile contact with Ms. Haven. He's to possess no drugs, weapons, firearms, or ammunition. He is not to consume any alcohol while he is out on release.
That's it.
Yeah, but he's got 6 children and. Next case is Michael, is it Bridges? Michael Bridges. Mr. Bridges, you were arrested on a charge of driving while license revoked as a habitual offender. There's probable cause to support the arrest, and I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond in that case is set at $1,500, so I've reduced that from what was on the affidavit. You are not to drive unless you have a valid driver license. You are not to possess any drugs, weapons, firearms, or ammunition. You were out on bond in case 22 CF 3991 when you got this new law arrest. The court is going to revoke your bond in that case.
Your Honor, may I be heard?
No, ma'am. Bond is going to be set at none. Randy Chappell. Mr. Chappell, or is it Chappelle?
Yep.
Mr. Chappelle, you were arrested on a charge of possession of 3,4-methylene deoxymethamphetamine, also known as MDMA. There is probable cause to support your arrest. Public defender is appointed. Your bond will be stated at $1,000. You are not to return to the scene. You are not to possess any drugs, weapons, or alcohol, or firearms or ammunition. You also have a failure to appear. In that case, for the failure to appear, your bond is set at $100. Good luck to you. Antonio Cirillo. Mr. Cirillo, you were arrested on a charge of burglary of a structure, damaging a fire extinguisher, and criminal mischief. There's probable cause on all 3 cases. Public defender is appointed. Your bonds will be stayed at $3,500, $1,000, and $500. You're to have no contact with the co-defendant and any other witnesses. You are not to return to the scene of the offense. You are not to possess any drugs, weapons, firearms, or ammunition. Good luck to you. Michael Cleveland. Mr. Cleveland, you have two cases. In your first case, the attempted burglary of a conveyance, there's probable cause to support the arrest. I will appoint the public defender. Your bond is going to be set at $3,500. You are to have no contact with the victim, not return to the scene of the offense, and you are not to possess any drugs, weapons, firearms, or ammunition. In the other case, the armed kidnapping, robbery with a firearm, and grand theft third degree, probable cause was previously found. Your bond on count 1 is set at none. Your bond on count 2 is set at none. Your bond on count 3 is set at $2,500. You are to have no contact with the victim, and you cannot possess any weapons, firearms, drugs, or ammunition. Good luck to you, sir. Edward Coward. Mr. Coward, you failed to appear on a case out of Orange County for petty theft 2 priors. Your bond is set at $1,000, $100, and $100. Good luck, sir. Kathy Gonzalez. Ms. Gonzalez, you were arrested for destruction of evidence, possession of paraphernalia, trespass after a warning, and resisting without violence. There's probable cause to support the arrest, and I will appoint the public defender. Your bonds will be stayed at $500, $150, $150, $150. You are not to return to the scene of the offense. You are to have no contact with the witness and any co-defendants, and you are not to possess any drugs, weapons, firearms, or ammunition while you are out on release. Good luck to you, sir. He refused. Court will take that as a waiver of his appearance. The defendant was arrested on possession of 3,4-methylene deoxymethamphetamine. There's probable cause to support that arrest. Public defender is appointed. The bond will be stated $1,000. That's $1,000. He's not to return to the scene. He's not to possess any drugs, weapons, firearms, or ammunition. He was OR'd on possession of cocaine, possession of paraphernalia, and resisting an officer with violence. The court is going to revoke the OR and set the bond on count 1 at $2,500 and $100 each on the subsequent cases. The next case is Jackson Clifford.
Your Honor, can we repeat the bond amounts for the second two? The last two?
Oh, there's always another case. Okay, so I gotta go back. So let me start over on Mr. Prince Hall's case. So Prince Hall has a possession of methamphetamine case, 2022 CF 8003. There's probable cause to support the arrest. PD was appointed, bond is set at $1,000, okay? Then there is another case, 22 CF 8015, possession of cocaine and possession of methamphetamine. I was on an arrest warrant. Probable cause had previously been found on that case. The bond is stayed at $1,000 on both of those counts. Then there is the case 2022 CF 11570, where he was out on OR. The bond is revoked on that case. There are 3 charges. So the new bond is set at $2,500 for the cocaine possession, $100 for the drug paraphernalia charge, and $100 for the resisting without charge. And I think that took care of all of Mr. Hall's cases. Thank y'all. Clifford Jackson. Mr. Jackson has 2 cases. On his first case, sir, you were arrested for attempted burglary of a conveyance, possession of burglary tools, petty theft, and criminal mischief. There's probable cause to support the arrest. Public defender is appointed. $3,500 on count number 1.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
$3,500 on count number 1, $500 on count 2, $500 on count 3, 1,000 on count 4. You are to have no contact with the victims, can't return to the scene of the offense, no drugs, weapons, firearms, or ammunition. On the other case, you were arrested on an out-of-county warrant out of Marion County. Your bond is set at $5,000 on that case. Jamarcus Jala,
You're gonna have to talk to your.
sir, you were arrested for possession of cannabis more than 20 grams. There's probable cause to support the arrest. Public defender is appointed. Bond set at $1,000. You are not to return to the scene of the offense. You are not to possess any drugs, weapons, firearms, or ammunition while you are out on bond. Good luck to you. Deron Jones. Mr. Jones, you were arrested on a charge of fleeing, attempting to elude a law enforcement officer, and resisting without violence. There's probable cause to support the arrest. Public defender is appointed. Straight PTR? Oh, wait, you don't qualify for the PD. Hold on, let me see something. You have no dependents. No, you don't qualify for the PD, so I can't appoint the PD's office on that case. I'll place you on PTR. Condition is that you not possess any drugs, weapons, firearms, or ammunition. And that's it. But I'm not gonna have a bond on it either. Alexis Laws. Ms. Laws, you were arrested for possession of 3,4-methylene deoxymethamphetamine. There's probable cause to support the arrest. Public Defender's Office is not going to be appointed in your case. $1,800 a month. How much? $1,800 a month. No dependent. Every 2 weeks. Ma'am, you qualify for the services of the Public Defender's Office. The bond amount is going to stay at $1,000. You are not to possess any drugs, weapons, firearms, or ammunition while you are out on bond. Good luck to you. Temesta Roberts.
And Your Honor, may I be heard on probable cause for this case?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'm only challenging probable cause on the grand theft firearm. The defense argues that there's no probable cause for this charge. There's nothing to indicate that he was a person that stole the firearm or that he had knowledge of the firearm being stolen. Possession of the stolen firearm is not enough to support this charge.
So you're challenging PC on count 2?
Yes, Your Honor.
State?
Mr. Roberts had the stolen firearm in his possession, and when he was fleeing from the police, he disposed of the firearm, trying to get rid of it. It was stolen when it was in his possession, and he knew it wasn't his.
All right.
Your Honor, may I respond? Your Honor, just because he knew that the firearm wasn't his does not prove that he stole the firearm. The firearm could have been purchased from someone else, given to him by someone else. The facts in the 4 corners of the affidavit does not prove grand theft of the firearm. We don't even have any information about when the firearm was stolen, other than it was stolen.
I'm going to find probable cause on counts 1, 3, 4. On count number 2, I'm not going to find PC. I'm going to OR the defendant on that charge. On counts 1, the bond will be set at $4,000. On count 3, the bond is set at $1,000. On count 4, the bond is set at $500. You're not to return to the scene of the offense and have no contact with any victim or witnesses, You are not to possess any drugs, weapons, firearms, or ammunition. Good luck to you. Jose Vasquez.
Refuse, Your Honor.
I'll take the refusal as his waiving his appearance. There's probable cause to support the arrest on all 3 counts: possession of cocaine, possession of paraphernalia, and burglary of a dwelling. Public defender is appointed. The bonds will be stayed at $150, $100, and $3,500. He's not to return, to have no contact with any victim or witnesses, not to possess any drugs, weapons, firearms, or ammunition. Madeline Pagan,
Be here, Your Honor.
take that as a waiver. She was arrested for a failure to appear. The bond on that case is set at $100. Christopher Simmons. Mr. Simmons, you were arrested on a failure to appear. The bond in your case is set at $4,000. Good luck to you, sir. Michael Butler. Mr. Butler, you were charged with driving while license suspended or revoked. There's probable cause to support the arrest. The public defender is appointed to represent you. Your bond is set at $500. You are not to drive unless you have a valid driver's license. You are not to possess any drugs, weapons, firearms, or ammunition.
He can't hear you.
Oh, he can't hear. I'm so sorry. Good afternoon, sir. Can you hear me now?
What's the volume? Nothing, they're dead. Try the other way.
Can you hear me now, sir?
There it goes.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. Mr. Butler, you were arrested on a charge of driving while license revoked. There's probable cause to support the arrest.
However, there wasn't cause to stop me to begin with. It's a new car with a bill of sale and a
We're gonna-
temporary tag.
Sir, you don't want to talk about your case today. You just want to, you don't want to talk about your case today. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond is stayed at $500. You're not to drive unless you have a valid driver's license, not to possess any drugs, weapons, firearms, or ammunition while you're out on bond. Good luck to you, sir.
Yep.
Next case is Anthony Casto. Okay. Mr. Casto, you were arrested for driving while license suspended or revoked the 3rd time or the 3rd offense. There's probable cause to support the charge. The public defender is appointed. Your bond is set at $500. You are not to drive unless you have a valid driver's license. You are not to possess any drugs, weapons, or alcohol while you are out on bond, or ammunition. Good luck to you, sir.
Here.
Jeffrey DeVoe.
Good
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. You were arrested on a failure to appear, both out of Orange County. On one failure to appear in Division 63 for a traffic case, reckless driving, your bond is set at $1,000. On the other failure to appear for resisting without violence, your bond is set at $750. And he does not qualify for the PD's office. I'll appoint that office to represent him.
You don't see that?
Sean McDuffie. Mr. McDuffie, you were arrested for failure to appear. Your bond is set at $100. Public Defender's Office is appointed. Scott Stencil.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Stencil, you were arrested for DUI. There's probable cause to support the charge. I will appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. While you are out on bond, the bond is going to be set at $500. And while you are out on bond, you are not to drive unless you have a valid driver's license. You are not to possess or consume any drugs or alcohol. You are not to possess any firearms, weapons, or ammunition. Good luck to you, sir. Andrew Chico. Mr. Chico, you are charged with petty theft, retail petty theft. There's probable cause to support the arrest. Public Defender's Office is appointed. Your bond is set at $250. You are not to return to the scene. You cannot have contact with the victim or any witnesses. And you are not to possess any drugs, weapons, ammunition, firearms, or alcohol while you are out. Good luck to you, sir. Adrian Fernier Salas. Ma'am, you were arrested for petty theft.
Yes, ma'am.
There's probable cause to support that arrest. Public Defender's Office is appointed. You are not to return to the scene of the offense. You are to have no contact with the victim or any witnesses. And you are not to possess any drugs, weapons, firearms, or ammunition while you are on release. Good luck to you.
Your Honor, what was that bond amount?
$500.
Thank you.
Brandon Hardy.
Your Honor, may I be heard as to release for Mr. Hardy?
Yes.
Your Honor, I did speak with the state. I believe that they're in agreement, but we would ask for ROR on this case. The state attorney's office, they primarily offer the 30-minute diversion video for this case. So for that reason, we would ask for an ROR.
State?
No objection, Your Honor.
I do find probable cause. I will appoint the PD. I will OR the defendant. Mr. Hardy, you need to make sure you come back to all of your court appearances, okay? If you don't come back to court, a capias is going to be issued, okay?
Yes, yes.
So come back to court.
Yes.
All right. And that's it for that, OR. Eric Henley.
Your Honor, I'd also like to be heard on this case as well.
Okay. On Mr. Henley's case, there is probable cause to support this arrest. Public defender is appointed. Ms. Cunningham.
Your Honor, one moment. We need the headphones for him as well.
The headphones? Okay.
Your Honor, could you see if he can hear you?
Mr. Henley, can you hear me?
I sure can.
Okay, Mr. Henley, you were arrested for resisting an officer without violence, and there's probable cause to support the arrest, and I'm appointing the public defender. Ms. Cunningham?
Your Honor, just as the last case, we would ask for ROR on this case because the state does offer the majority of the time, the state does offer the 30-minute diversion video for resisting without violence if there's no other charges attached to it.
No objection.
Okay. So you're going to be OR. Good luck to you, sir. Christian Hernandez. He refused? I'll accept that refusal as a waiver. He was arrested for trespass on property after a warning. Probable cause supports the arrest. Public defender appointed, bond set at $500.
And Your Honor, may I be heard on the misdemeanor?
On the misdemeanor, yes, ma'am.
So the 22 MM 513 case, it looks like there was a plea that was set back on April 21st in which the public defender asked for a new date before that happened, and nothing has happened on it since, and there's no court date, so we'd ask for no action to be taken.
I don't have that case.
Oh, he's out on bond on that case.
I didn't receive it.
Okay, well, never mind.
He's not to return to the scene of the offense. He's to have no contact with any witnesses, and he's not to possess any drugs, weapons, firearms, or ammunition. David Johnson. Yes, please. Yeah, I don't have it. There's nothing for me to put on the record because I don't have it. It's like it's not on the docket. Okay, so what is it? What's the case number?
Case number for the Petty Field is 2022 ML 000513.
Okay, so I'll just take no action on that case.
And the other one is an open container, public property, 2022 MO 000558AA.
Do I have some county ordinances here.
Is that an out-on-bond case or another charge?
It's an out on bond case.
You wouldn't have it.
Okay, so I'll take no action on that. Okay, so did you want to be heard on Mr. Johnson's case, Ms. Cunningham?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so Mr. Johnson, you were arrested on trespass other than a structure or conveyance and resisting without violence. There is probable cause to support that arrest. Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you.
Your Honor, I do want to know if the state or the court has an offer for this case.
I don't. State, do you?
No, Your Honor, there's no offer for this case.
Okay. Bond is set at $500 on count one, $100 on count two. And you are not to return to the scene. You are to have no contact with any witnesses, not to possess any drugs, weapons, firearms, or ammunition. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Tyler Johnson,
Behavior, Your Honor.
I'll accept that as him not wanting to, as him waiving his appearance. There's probable cause to support the charge of the arrest for battery. Public defender is appointed. Bond set at $500. He's not to have any contact with the victim, not to return to the scene of the offense, not to possess any drugs, weapons, firearms, or ammunition. Arthur Peter Martin. Mr. Martin, you were arrested on a charge of battery. There's probable cause to support that arrest. I will appoint the public defender, and you are going to have your bond set at $500. You are not to return to the scene of the offense. Is that your home?
It was, ma'am, yes. I need to see a caseworker to have me transported.
Wait, speak up again.
Sorry.
I'm
I'm gonna need to be transported to Courtyard. It's a medical facility for seniors. I'm supposed to be going through physical therapy.
Okay.
So hopefully, we could get that done. I think it's on Mercy Drive.
Okay, well, do you have a place to go other than the Laurelwood court address?
No, I'm trying to get into the Courtyard
Okay,
on Mercy Drive. Yeah, it's a physical therapy place, and I was supposed to be sent there before, but
Who lives there? Does the victim live there with you?
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Does the victim live there with you?
At the house, yeah, he was staying there.
Do you know if he's still there?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. Well, I will allow you to return one time to get your belongings. But you're,
I'm not worried about that as of this time, Your Honor. I just, need to be put in another position where I'll be able to, take care of that at a later date.
okay, you can take care of it at a later time.
Yes.
You are not to possess or consume any drugs or alcohol while you are out on release, and you cannot possess any weapons or ammunition while you are out on release.
Yes.
Bond is set at or stayed at $500. All right. Next case is Ronaldo Vasquez. Ronaldo Vasquez. Do I have a booking number? Oh, that's the person who typed up that error message. Everything is going to be on the page. Oh, she has two pages. Lynn Crawford. I'm so silly. Goodness gracious. Ms. Crawford, you were arrested for violation of probation out of Pinellas County. There are two separate cases. In both of those cases, your bond is set at none. One was a VOP for possession of alprazolam. The other was a VOP for possession of oxycodone and possession of morphine and alprazolam. Your bond is set at none on both of those cases. Good luck to you.
Cheryl, on that case for Crawford, the second case, is it 4 counts of VOP or just 1? 4. Okay, thank you.
Right, because she has a driving license suspended, oxycodone, morphine, and alprazolam. I'm sorry, should have said that one. Ellie Louison. Sir, you were arrested for on an out-of-county warrant out of Osceola County for driving while license suspended or revoked. Your bond is set at $250. Good luck, sir. Shamela Smith.
2201589
Bonded. Deontay Keaton. I'll take the refusal as him waiving his appearance. He was arrested on a violation of probation. Bond in that case is, that's my case. Bond in that case is set at none. He was out on bond in case 2022 CF 5446 AO. Bond in that case will be, well, let me hold off on that one. He's got a new law arrest for possession of cocaine, possession of methamphetamine, possession of 3,4-methylene deoxymethamphetamine, and possession of drug paraphernalia. There's probable cause to support that arrest. Public defender is appointed. Bond is stayed at $1,000, $1,000, and $500. He's not to possess any drugs, weapons, firearms, or ammunition, not to return to the scene of the offense. He was also arrested on charges of possession of cannabis under 20 grams and resisting an officer without violence. Probable cause supports the arrest in the misdemeanor case. The public defender is appointed. The bond is stayed at $500 and $100. No drugs, weapons, firearms, or ammunition. No return to the scene of the offense. He was out on bond in case 22 CF 5446 AO. As a result of the new law violations, the bond will be revoked. The new bond will be set at none. bless you. David Hunt.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Mr. Hunt, you were arrested for open container, a city ordinance violation. Probable cause supports the charge. Public defender is appointed. The bond is set at $500.
Does the court have an offer for this? It is a city case.
An adjudication and court cost.
One
Credit for
moment.
time served. And I'm going to take no action on the MM case, the one that he's out on bond for.
Your Honor, he'd like to take that at this time. I do have a signed plea form. May I approach?
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Hunt, tell me your full name, please, sir.
David Eduardo Hunt Jr.
Okay, and do you read, write, and understand English?
Yes, ma'am.
The plea form's in English. Did you read and understand it?
I did, yes, ma'am.
It has your name at the top and a signature at the bottom. Did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sir, on your plea form, well, let me ask you this. Are you under the influence of any drugs, medication, or alcohol?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone forced or threatened you to get you to plea?
No.
Do you have any kind of mental condition that would make you confused or not understand what's going on?
No, ma'am.
Are you thinking clearly?
Yes.
Are you entering your plea today freely and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am.
On your plea form, sir, it lists the rights that you give up by pleading. You give up your right to a trial, to testify, choose to remain silent. You give up your right to call your own witnesses, question the state's witnesses, and make the state prove you're guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Any questions?
No.
All right, and you can get up to 60 days in jail, $500 fine, and 6 months of probation for this charge. Do you have any questions about the maximum penalties?
No, none at all.
Okay, and were you on probation when you got this charge?
No.
If you were, this plea would be used to prove that violation against you. Any questions?
No, ma'am.
Do you need to speak to an immigration attorney about immigration consequences?
No, ma'am.
Because if a person is not a U.S. citizen, by entering a plea, they'll be subjected to deportation proceedings. Any questions about that?
No, ma'am.
All right, then. So, there's a factual basis to accept your plea based upon what I've read in the affidavit. A guilty plea admits the crime and not guilty denies it. No contest says you don't admit or deny you're pleading in your best interest. How do you plea, sir, to open container?
No contest.
I'll accept the plea and find you're entering it freely and voluntarily, making a knowing, intelligent waiver. You also understand the consequences. I'm going to adjudicate you. Well, let me ask you this. Ms. Thomas, do you know if he has any prior criminal history? Other than this, he was arrested on a petty theft, but is there any other prior criminal history? My apologies, I should have asked you earlier.
Yes, he had. Yeah. September 3rd.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Thank you, ma'am. I'm going to adjudicate you guilty in order that you serve 1 day in the Orange County Jail with credit for 1 day time served. Court costs will be reduced to a civil judgment. You have 30 days to file a written notice of appeal, or you waive that right, and if you need an attorney, I'll appoint one. And like I said earlier, I'm not taking any action on the misdemeanor petty theft case. You have 30 days to file a written notice of appeal, or you waive that right, and if you need an attorney, I'll appoint one. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
Demetric Marine. Mr. Marine, you were arrested on charges of disorderly conduct and state misdemeanors. Those are each, I find probable cause for each of those. You can get the public defender appointed to represent you. Your bond is set at $500 and $200.
Your
Can't
Honor,
go back to the scene and don't possess any drugs, don't possess any drugs or alcohol unless you have a, yes, ma'am, unless you have a script for that drugs.
does the court have an offer?
Adjudication and credit for time served.
May I have one moment?
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am, for that one. Do you need this? No.
Your Honor, he'll take that offer. May I approach?
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Marine, tell me your full name and your birthday.
Demetric Marine, August 3rd, 1979.
Do you read, write, and understand English?
Yes,
This plea form's in English. Did you read and understand it?
yes,
It has your name at the top and a signature at the bottom. Did you sign it?
yes,
Sir, are you under the influence of any drugs or medicine or alcohol?
no,
Has anyone forced you to plea?
no,
Do you have any kind of mental condition that would make you confused or not understand what's going on?
no,
Are you thinking clearly?
yes,
Sir, you're going to be entering a plea today to disorderly conduct and state misdemeanors, both city ordinances. You can get up to $500 fine, 6 months of probation, and 60 days in jail. That's the maximum penalty. I'm sentencing you to time served today, but do you understand the maximum penalties?
yes, ma'am.
The plea form lists the rights you give up. You give up all your trial rights, like your right to a trial, your right to testify, or to choose to remain silent. You give up your right to call your own witnesses, question the state's witnesses, and make the state prove you're guilty. Any questions about that?
No, ma'am.
And were you on probation when you got this charge?
No, I was released on my own,
Just listen to the question I asked.
Oh, no,
Just
ma'am.
answer just that one.
No,
Were you on probation?
No, ma'am.
Okay. The reason I ask is because if you were, then this plea would be used to prove the violation against you. Any questions about that?
No,
All right. And do you need to speak to an immigration attorney about immigration consequences?
no,
Because if you are not a U.S. citizen, by entering a plea, you will be subjected to deportation proceedings. Any questions about that?
no, ma'am.
There's a factual basis to accept your plea based upon the affidavit that I read, if you still want to do that. A guilty plea will admit the crime, not guilty denies it. No contest says you don't admit or deny, you're pleading in your best interest. How do you plead to the charges?
No contest.
I'll accept the no contest plea, find that you're entering them freely and voluntarily, making knowing intelligent waivers, you understand the consequences. I will adjudicate you guilty on both counts. Order that you serve 1 day in the Orange County Jail concurrent with each other on both counts. Court costs are reduced to a civil judgment. You have 30 days to file a written notice of appeal, or you waive that right, and if you need an attorney, I'll appoint one. Good luck to you.
Right, thank you.
And the other one, I'm not gonna take any action on that. Last one is Micah Nail.
Mental health, Your Honor.
Your Honor, because this is a city ordinance, we'd ask for this to be reset.
Well, well. I'll reset it for him to be it'll be rescheduled for him to come to court 24 hours after he's released from mental health. And that's all that I have.
I just have a question on Enrique Gonzalez. Was he, did we see him?
Yes, I'm gonna say yes. 'cause
Where
I
is
don't
he
have the
under? What is he under?
Felony? Okay,
Yes.
Yes, 'cause-
thank you.
all right. Thank y'all very much. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you.